And I'd always wanted to like travel to Europe and backpack. So I booked myself like a one-way ticket, and then I booked myself another ticket back 2 months later. In the span of a week, right, I managed to lose my passport, have my wallet stolen the next day, right, and then I got food poisoning. And I was like, oh, my mom teaches that, right? And he goes, oh, she's hot as you. And I was like, okay, right, yeah.
What episode is this, that, Nick? You usually keep count.
Oh God,
100 and something.
112.
112. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This time we got Carly on. We went to school together, and you moved away.
Yeah.
And we ran into you at your job.
Former job, but yeah.
Former job, yeah. And now you're here.
Yes. Full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, weird.
Weird.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you for having
You're actually
me.
our second woman to ever come on.
Oh, wow. Look at us go.
Yeah.
Diversity.
Yeah.
Nice.
Progressive.
Good job.
Also our second white person, I think.
Oh, look at us go, guys.
Yeah,
Wait, who was the first?
Hunter?
Ah, that's right.
Okay.
That's funny.
As long as we're hitting all the metrics.
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're only missing Asian.
Oh, you'll get there.
Yeah. One day.
Yeah.
We don't talk to them, though.
What?
We also don't know any.
We don't.
Speak for yourselves.
Anyways, so I know apparently they didn't know, but you went like traveling
Yeah.
at least after you graduated or something.
Yeah.
So what went on?
I originally moved to San Diego for school, actually. I got a full ride through the military. So it was pretty cool. It was a national scholarship, so you could put it anywhere you wanted as long as they had the program. And like A&M was the closest, but A&M's kind of a cult, you know?
For sure.
Yeah. So I was like, no thanks. And I had a boyfriend in San Diego at the time. So I was like, sure, whatever. Like 2 birds, 1 stone, right? And it was beautiful. I lived there for like a year, but I broke my leg on a scooter of all things, like a bird scooter. I was going 2 miles an hour. It was not impressive, like at all. I clipped a curb. It was bad. It was not cool. Snapped 2 bones, right?
Damn.
Oh.
Yeah, not
Like
a
just
fun
from hitting
day.
the curb, you just fly off?
2 miles an hour. I went over the you couldn't fly at that speed.
Oh, I
you
guess
know?
that's fair,
yeah. I just kind of fell over the scooter, and I guess my foot got caught or something.
I think that's more impressive.
Mouth flew a little.
Something like that.
Yeah, we can tell my story later. We've told my story before. It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can talk about it.
But so then I ended up moving back because I didn't end up pursuing the scholarship. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to do what I wanted to do with like the hardware in my leg.
Mm-hmm.
And I
What do you
kind
want
of
to do? I'm sorry.
I wanted to fly like jets.
Oh.
shit.
Yeah. But they're really picky with that.
Yeah. And you're kind of tall.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm 5'10".
Is that
that
what
too-
you know? What's the height limit? Because I know there is.
There's
one.
not. I mean, it's like 6'4" or 6'5".
Oh, okay.
It's just comfort.
Okay,
You know,
gotcha.
like a lot of people are
That'd be
smaller
alright.
because it's easier to fit into. You know.
Gotcha.
But no, I mean San Diego was beautiful. Oh my gosh, the school I went to was amazing. It was $72,000 a year, so
Damn,
I was not gonna
jeez.
stay. Yeah, but the food hall was amazing. Like we had our own little pasta guy. His name was Mickey. We were cool. We were tight. And you'd
Mickey.
go up and you'd be like, "Can I get this type of pasta with this sauce?" Or he'd like
What?
custom make your sauce.
That's
Yeah,
sick.
and he'd put like everything you wanted in it. He was so cool.
Yeah, Sam could never.
Yeah, no,
No.
sorry. You know,
Just
cat
to compare,
bucks,
how much
right?
is Sam a year?
20 if you stay on campus.
Is
Oh
it?
my God.
Yeah, it's 10.
That's a
grand.
lot.
Yeah, if you don't stay on campus, it's only $5,000 a year.
Need to make a correction real fast. Sam is about 10,000 to 12,000 a year. That's my bad.
Okay.
Or almost 6.
But then it's still Huntsville. Which, nothing against it. Huntsville's
Well, yeah,
cool.
but it's also a cheap town though.
Yeah, very
So-
true. No, absolutely.
Don't feel cheap.
Does
Yeah.
not.
Well, yeah, because that's what. Well, so like, how's living in San Diego? Because I bet it's fucking expensive.
Well, so I got really lucky because it was COVID, you know? And the only people they brought on campus for the first month or two were sports and scholarship recipients.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so it was predominantly like ROTC people, and then all of the sports guys were like in the dorms. But the ROTC people ended up getting like our own apartments, you know? So for the first 2 months, I had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath to myself. It was great. It was so cool. But I flooded it the first night I was there. Like, I don't even know how. But I made some friends. It was really cool. So, like I said, I was like seeing a guy at the time, and he came over, and he ended up using the other bathroom. So like there was my side, and he ended up using the other toilet, right? And we leave because it was the first night I got there. I think we like went out or something. I don't know. And we come back, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I step in the carpet, and it like squishes, you know? And I was like, oh my God, what is that? You know? And I freak out, and I'm trying to figure out who I'm supposed to call because there's like I haven't met anyone on campus at this point. And I call one of the RAs, and he comes by, and he was like, yeah, but it's 12 o'clock, so I'm off. And then he leaves. I'm not even kidding. Like, he gave me we called it Peace Safe. It was public, like, safety. He gave me that number. He was like, call them. And he was like, I'm leaving, right? So he dips. And I think actually before that, I kind of like flagged people down, So I was like standing outside of my apartment, and someone would walk by, and I'd be like, hey, like, come here, like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. So I ended up making 2 friends that night, because there was this one guy who like looked through his window across the courtyard or whatever, and I was like, come over, right? And so he comes by, and then I ended up flagging down another guy, and he came over, and we all became like super good friends for that semester. They were both on ROTC scholarships. And then this random dude like shows up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and he's got like this big vacuum, doesn't say anything to me, just like goes and vacuums it. And then that was that, and it was good. And then he fixed the toilet. I think they turned the water off or something. I don't know. But then my roommate moved in. It was fun. It was cool. I was the bad roommate in the situation, because I just like bring people over, like friends, And it was just, I don't know. She was a hoot. But so San Diego was a time. It was cool. And then I ended up moving back to Montgomery, which is where I went to high school. And I was kind of like floating around with school for a little bit. And I'd always wanted to like travel to Europe and backpack. So I booked myself like a one-way ticket. And then I booked myself another ticket back 2 months later. It was like,
That's dope.
yeah, it was cool. So I went to Berlin first. It was the first time I'd ever been out of the country. And I ended up so I started in Berlin. And then I went to Budapest, Bulgaria. I went to Thessaloniki and Athens, Greece. And then I went all over Italy. And then I went to Switzerland, Amsterdam, and Paris. And I came back. Yeah.
You just skipped Germany.
No, Berlin's Germany.
Oh, you said Berlin.
Berlin was cool, though.
I didn't
It
even
was
know what
awesome.
half of those were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
So,
Oh.
so were you just staying in, I forget what they're called.
Hostels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that?
Honestly, really cool.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, you meet a lot of people, like, and they're all, especially if you're by yourself, a lot of people are by themselves. And they're all like around the same age, and everyone kind of just wants to have a good time, So, yeah, it was really cool.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how much money did you take?
So my budget for the whole 2 months was $2,500, right? And I ended up getting food poisoning in Italy. But had I not gotten food poisoning and had to like double book a lot of places, I would have stayed under it.
Okay.
So yeah, but I have horrible luck in Italy. Like in the span of a week, right? I managed to lose my passport, have my wallet stolen the next day,
Damn.
right? And then I got food poisoning, and then I got into a skiing accident and hit my neck on a pole like 4 days after that.
Oh
Was
a
it
mess.
after you broke your leg?
Oh
too?
yeah, this is like 2 years after.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I broke my leg 2020. I think I backpacked 2022, 2023. I think it was 2023. So this was like 2 years after I moved back.
Yeah.
I was kind of just chilling, working for a little bit. Yeah.
That's
was
so cool.
neat.
So what was your favorite location to go in Europe?
It depends on what you're interested in.
Okay.
So like Berlin was really cool, but it's intense.
Okay.
Right? So like we went out while we were there. I met a few people at my hostel. And we went to a few clubs, and a lot of the clubs there like open Thursday night, right? But then they don't close until Monday morning at all, And we had gone to one where you'd go in, like, first of all, we had this big group. So we all had a conversation beforehand, and it was like, hey, we're going to split up, because they're less likely to let all of these people in. So we'll split into like twos or by yourself or whatever. And if you don't get in, like, it's not personal, we'll see you at the hostel, right? So like half of our group doesn't get in. We go into the club, and they take your phones, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. So you have to turn in your phones, and like there was a bag drop because I was there in January. So it was really cold, and we had like our coats and everything. So you like drop off all your stuff, and then you go into the club, and there's like not any clocks or anything. So you have no idea what time it is, It was nuts. And it was a very interesting club, to say the least. There was only one bathroom. Like, it was all guys and girls, and it was all mixed. So you just like walk in and like go to a stall, whatever. And there's like 2 or 3 floors, and there was like a pool and a sauna. No one was in the pool, thankfully, but it was a very interesting experience. Yeah. And we stayed out till like 7. It was insane.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing. Like, you're on the train going back to your hostel, and people are like in their work clothes, and you just look like shit,
Wow.
But yeah, It was cool though.
See, because I'm not a club person, but that sounds fun.
It was techno too, so it's not like
fuck
it's
yeah.
like they all do the same dance and they're just moving their
Like
necks.
bumping. Yeah, hell yeah.
So if you wanted something like crazy and like intense, and they all wear like black and they just like look so German, you know?
Yeah.
Berlin. Budapest was my next stop, and that was amazing because it's really cheap, you know? Thankfully, like with the US, we have a pretty strong dollar, so if you go to a lot of cheaper places, you save a lot of money. And it was just really cool. I met more people at my hostel, and we ended up going out to this other club where, like, I promise I don't club like crazy, guys, I swear. But we ended up going out to another one, and every room had a different theme. So, like, one would be hip hop, one would be pop, one would be, like, techno, I don't know. And they had, like, these, what are they called? Thermal baths? Right? Where you can go and it's just like these huge, like warm pools and there's like the steam because it's cold outside.
Oh, yeah.
It was beautiful. And the Hungarian Parliament building is stunning. Like the architecture on all of it, it's insane. And I would just like walk around and just go check stuff out. It was cool. But I loved Budapest. Berlin was like my number one for intense. Budapest was cheap. The food was really good. The people were super nice. And then not on that trip, my other two favorites are Morocco and Turkey.
Okay, so why those two?
So just the culture is so different.
Okay.
Like most places you'll go, a lot of people will speak English, you know. In Europe, a lot of it does kind of feel very similar to America in the sense of like it's similar.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go to like we went to Turkey for my birthday last year, and it was like one of the stops on the trip. And it was during Ramadan, which was really neat to see. You know, because I think we stayed next to like a mosque and you could just hear like them praying or whatever you would call it. And it was just really cool. Like, but we started making jokes because people get really pissed off right before sunset, you know, because they haven't eaten all day because they've been fasting and everyone's hangry. So we'd see like people like get into arguments or fights or whatever. And then as soon as everyone gets to eat, like it was so cool. Like the whole town would come out and everyone's just like socializing. Everyone's in a good mood. You know, it was really cool. Yeah. Honestly. Wow. And so it was like that in Turkey, and just the landscape is so drastically different from the US. I got to see, I don't know, there's a lot of really cool stuff there, but in a lot of their like populations, I guess a good way of putting it, a lot of them would go into caves and like build houses there, you know, and so they'd build like buildings essentially into the sides of the caves.
Interesting. Right?
And that was one of the examples of like, from how I understand it, the history could be wrong, but one of the first examples of like Christianity in that area. They escaped religious persecution and hid in the caves. And so there's like churches and you can just see the paintings. Cool. It was beautiful. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site actually. And it's the Open Air Museum in Turkey. It's in Cappadocia, however you say it. But it's really cool. And then like Marrakesh is in Morocco. And they have the souks there. So it's like tunnels and tunnels and tunnels of shops. You know, so you're just like walking by and there's like a little stand here and a little stand there, and everyone bargains. Like that's all they teach you how to do. I don't know. It was really cool. Like it's just beautiful. All of the culture was so different. Yeah. You know, but yeah, I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, because he's not big on wanting to travel outside the country.
Oh, you should. Absolutely.
I mean, I want to, but I want to like explore this country too.
Yeah.
And it's like
for sure.
Either or, and then it's weird. I don't know.
I feel like it's almost just as expensive to travel in the U.S. as it is outside of it, you know, other than flights.
Yeah, because with the flights, I feel like scare people, but so many places are so cheap that like once you get there, it's going to be the same amount anyways.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's an airline that flies from like the East Coast cities, so like New York, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Atlanta, I think, and then Washington. It's called Norse, and they fly from JFK to London for $99 one way. Yeah. Whoa. I love travel deals. I don't even know. I'm like the biggest budget person. And true story, you can fly from Las Vegas to Canada to Banff for $16 one way.
No way.
For what airline though? Like, are they sketch? Or like, are they like Spirit?
If you get
level?
There, I mean, like, you know. Hey, don't talk bad on Spirit. I love Spirit.
See, because that's what I say too, but I've never actually done it.
You never fly Spirit?
No, absolutely
You need
not.
to fly Spirit.
There's nothing wrong with
This is
Spirit.
an advertisement for Spirit right now. I love it.
I've never flown.
Ever?
Oh,
Are you scared?
I've been in a helicopter.
Oh, that counts. Yeah.
I've never flown anywhere.
That equals out.
Where did you go in a helicopter? Like a tour?
I think it was a rattlesnake convention.
Okay.
I was like,
Can you see- Can you see them from that high?
Yeah,
I don't know why there was a helicopter there, but they were like giving helicopter rides at a rattlesnake convention.
I have
I'm
so many
terrified of snakes
questions.
now. Apparently, I wasn't then. That might have been.
The
But they were
reason
doing like those like snake things with some kinds of snakes.
I don't know
there.
what you're talking about.
Like
Like the things
the
they
things
do.
that those like Indian
Like
people
the
do,
dances?
yeah.
Oh, with the little.
Yeah, where they
Yeah.
I thought you were
okay.
in
okay.
the helicopter.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you
Oh
talking
no,
about?
that's just the convention in general.
Oh, okay.
I don't
That's
know what
funny.
the helicopter. I literally don't know why that was there.
Oh,
But
you were young then.
yeah,
Where was it in Houston?
no, it was
Bevo.
could have been it was Texas because it might have been like towards San Antonio.
No, it makes sense.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I don't know what it was.
Cool.
It was a rattlesnake convention though. It was huge.
A lot of people.
Oh yeah,
Really?
I mean a lot of rednecks.
Yeah.
but
Rednecks are interested.
That's
in
probably where that
those?
side of me came from.
And helicopters, apparently.
I still, I've never really thought about that until now. I was just tell people how to like rode in a helicopter, but
That's cool, though.
yeah.
That is
For how long?
I mean, that I don't remember. I mean, I was a little
Okay.
kid, so it felt.
That
like
doesn't matter. You were up there.
It felt like
Yeah,
You were
forever.
in the air. Yeah, you was in the air.
That's
I'm
so
going on a
funny.
private plane next Wednesday
Really? Where are you going?
from our job. We're
Oh.
going like it's like an hour flight.
That's cool.
Yeah.
For the stuff with Sam?
No, I work
Or-
for
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, the number one. The
Yeah.
other number one employer. That's yeah. That's
Yeah,
cool,
so,
though.
yeah, it'll be.
Where y'all going?
It's this place called. It's this little town called Childress. Childress.
I feel like I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's like by the Panhandle.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so hopefully that goes
What
great.
are y'all going for?
Just to, I shoot videos for a living.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna go and like interview people and shoot a commercial. I think. And
Cool.
Yeah.
At like.
at a
Okay. What's the commercial for? Do you know?
recruiting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Like the.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those commercials are gay.
You're flying that jet?
The plane. It's not even a jet, bro. It's a plane. It's
Good-
a private plane. Like
good-
it has one propeller on the front.
Good
Oh,
luck,
that's
buddy.
cool.
No.
Good
No,
luck, buddy.
okay, well,
Apparently,
Scary.
I haven't driven it. I haven't ridden it yet, but apparently it's very scary.
Oh,
So
sorry.
that's okay. If,
Yeah.
you know, if it's my time, it's my time.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I went out having a good time.
Right?
So,
yeah. Okay, would you ever go
Uh,
skydiving?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm like on the borderline of too heavy.
Oh, okay.
So if I lose a little more weight, then yes.
You just like fast for a few days.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, absolutely. Have you gone skydiving?
Yeah,
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. It
Yeah?
was really, I've been
Really?
3 times.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like, yeah.
It was cool. I highly recommend it. There's a place you can go in Houston, 2 people for $250.
Really?
I got you.
You just know all
It's
the
like
deals.
hell yeah, I
It's
do.
like
Y'all
a
don't even know.
walking coupon book.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was fun though. It was nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
I forced my ex-boyfriend to go, who was terrified of heights, right? You know, because I was like, we got to get over this,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And his point of view was that the plane looked really sketchy, so he wanted to jump out of it, you know?
Okay.
Ah.
Sure.
So, and he
Yeah.
did. And like they set it up to where he like if he didn't jump out, I couldn't jump out. So then there was peer pressure involved too. But he said it was amazing. But before that I went in Hawaii and then I went in Switzerland.
Oh
It
shit.
was really cool. Yeah.
That's really
It
cool.
was sick.
That's crazy.
I loved it, honestly.
So skydiving
amazing.
question,
Mhm.
because I'm not scared of heights or anything.
Okay.
I don't want to go skydiving.
Why not?
I would, but so like on a roller coaster when you like do a drop and
Yeah.
like your
It's not the
stomach
same.
feeling. Do you feel that at all when you skydive,
That's good. That's
or is
a
it
great
like an
question.
initial as soon as you jump out the plane you feel it, but then once you're like
Yeah.
falling,
That's a
I
great
wouldn't
question.
say it's like so the first time I ever went, as soon as we jumped out of the plane, I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. You know, like
Right.
this is scary, right? And then I was like, okay, well, I can either be scared like the whole way down or I can enjoy it.
Wow,
You know?
Okay.
Right? And so, okay, so whenever you first jump out, you don't just jump forward like in the movies, you jump backwards and you do like a flip. That's the scary part because you're like watching the horizon and it's just like not the way it's supposed to be going, you know?
Yeah.
But then it's really cool and it's just like a lot of air in your face.
And you're connected to the other person though. so-
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to be, you know, some people go by themselves, which
Well,
is crazy.
You have to like do it a certain amount of times before you.
I
can do
think
that,
so,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're going your first time, they're not just going.
Yeah, absolutely not. No, no, no,
Have
no.
fun,
Yeah,
you know.
but no, I would love
That's
to.
funny.
I
You
really,
should.
really want to. Yeah.
Yeah, the place they were super nice in Houston. The plane just was like a little sketch, like mildly,
Okay.
but they were super cool.
How was it compared to like your experience in Hawaii or Switzerland?
So we went higher in Hawaii,
Okay.
and then I think it was like the middle one. I think in Houston it's like 12,000 feet or something like that. I could be completely wrong on this, but I think we did 20 in Hawaii, and then I believe I did 16 in Switzerland. But I wouldn't say like the feeling isn't any different. It's just the scenery. But if you've never been skydiving, you don't know the
It doesn't
difference.
matter, yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, right?
And it's still an adrenaline rush. Like you're not thinking, oh, like wow, this could be an island, you know, like.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. Either way, I would
Yeah.
highly recommend it.
Does it feel like
But
you're
Hawaii
just
is beautiful.
on a swing when like the chute's open and you're just like floating down?
No,
Or is it just faster?
I don't know. Actually, it's an excellent question. I feel like it doesn't like just maybe. I feel like you do feel it. I don't know.
Your
I have no
adrenaline's
idea.
probably so high that you don't even.
Yeah.
you just
It's
kinda
just
start
fun.
slowing down.
The fun part, you start like you go like side to side when
Yeah.
you're going down, you know? So like there's the actual free fall and then they deploy the chute and then they'd like to slow down, I guess they zigzag it a little bit.
So are you falling with someone or just by yourself?
You're with someone. So
Okay.
someone's behind you.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
That's cool.
They used to do it in Madisonville.
Wow.
I don't know if they still do.
You say why?
Yeah.
I don't know,
That's such a
but
random place.
There's an airport there, and my grandparents' place is like right next to the airport,
Yeah.
and then you would hear them jump.
That's
And it's kind of
cool.
crazy how far away you can hear the chute open.
I didn't know that.
You don't
That's
like you
awesome.
can't even see it, but you hear like a big
Yeah.
clap, and then
That's
eventually
cool.
you see them, and you can hear them like screaming, and they're probably like miles and miles away. But yeah, I would just sit there and watch them.
That's cool. Okay, random question that reminded me of. Did y'all have Mr. Gedalion in 5th grade?
No.
The guy with all the pets in his classroom?
I went into his classroom once, but
You remember like the 30
I
pets or
I
whatever?
remember that guy.
Yeah. He did a sound versus light, like speed experiment, you know, where he went like all the way down. You know that big field that they had? Where there was like the
What is
playground
this?
on
Mhm.
one end and then there was like a little soccer thing and there was like the ropes you can
Yeah.
climb up. You know what I'm
Mhm.
talking about? And that's okay.
Yeah.
It took
And
me a
then
second to
there's-
remember what school that was. For a
Yeah,
second, so
sorry,
I was
high school
like,
intermediate, my bad.
Yeah.
And so like there was that big field. So he went and he like stood at the very end of it with a pair of cymbals, you know, went like this and like had us listen for the sound versus see it.
yeah.
And so like you could see him do it and then you wouldn't hear the sound until later. That's really cool.
Whoa.
That's what that reminded me of. Sorry.
That reminded me of like the first I went to a UT football game. And like I don't know anything about football, I don't watch sports.
Yeah.
But we were like way up there. And they did the clap. And I saw him clap and it was like a 3-second delay
That's
till
so
I heard it. And I was
cool.
like, I don't get it.
Why'd you go to
I didn't even know why I was clapping. That's
Oh,
how lost
yeah.
I was. So but yeah.
Is it when they kick the ball?
They snap it.
I don't
They
know.
snap it.
Oh, yeah, sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ask me.
I'm
but-
sorry, I don't know
Yeah.
either.
Yeah. Okay.
That's cool
okay.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Science.
So did we catch up on all your travel? Is that
No.
okay? Let's keep going then, because I love hearing about travel.
There was backpacking, right? And then I went to Mexico. Like I know
What
that's
part?
such a lame. Oh,
What
sorry.
part? What's my people?
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Like all the tourist spots. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
Cancun, Tulum, and Cozumel.
That's all right.
Yeah, my bad.
That's
Tulum was cool though. It was like the least like it's still really touristy, but
Yeah.
it was less touristy than like Cancun.
I got you.
Yeah, but it was really cool. Like, so I'm not gonna give y'all another advertisement, but there's a great credit card you can get.
No, please do. Credit cards are
Okay,
cool.
okay,
Yeah, credit
cool.
cards are cool.
Chase Sapphire. It's like the number one card for travel, by the way.
Okay, because I have a Chase card. So maybe
Oh
I
yeah, you
reach
should
out.
probably be
Okay.
able to get approved for it. And if you can't, go for like one of the lower cards and then work your way up.
Yeah, type shit.
Yeah, big brain.
Type shit.
So also wait, because they do sign-on bonuses, right? And you can get up to like 100,000 points with your if you meet your bonus. So like
Okay.
I just put rent on it, you know, and I think it's like $3,000 in 6 months, you know. But if you use it for rent or whatever, like your necessities, and just pay it off immediately, it's basically the same thing. And then you get the points. Okay, so whenever I was on my trip in Europe, I got that card right before I went because it didn't charge foreign transaction fees. So like, say for example, you bank with Woodforce, right? Every single time you swipe your card in another country, it charges you $2.
Right.
You know, that's a lot. That adds up, right? So I signed up for that card and I went and I took it on my little trip. Okay, and it was the only. There's a whole nother like tangent off of this that we'll get onto, but it was the only card I could use because my debit card stopped working while I was there. Really stressful day. And I earned like all these points while I was on this trip because I met that sign up bonus, you know? And then I went and I used all those points and like went all inclusive Mexico for free, you know? So it was really cool.
Oh.
Great time. Because it transfers to Hyatt and then you can use the points from Hyatt and get a bunch of hotels and stuff.
Gotcha.
Really pro tip, by the way.
Okay.
So I went to
I'm
Mexico.
looking at this credit card.
No, like you
I'm
absolutely
serious.
should.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's an amazing card. So like Amex, those, right? The Amex Platinum is a really good travel card too, but the Chase Sapphire is almost better in a lot of aspects.
wow, okay.
Yeah. So, and it's $95 a year, guys. It's not breaking the bank, and it pays for itself. Like you get a lot of perks.
Yeah, that's easy money.
Yeah.
That's better than the platinum.
Huh?
That's better than the platinum.
It is.
That one's like 500 a year or something.
Yeah, I think it's $595 or
Tough
something.
shit.
I almost got that one.
See, I should have done
I was
that.
like, nah.
I've gone on like 3 vacations in the last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and you get points for like you book hotels through them and stuff.
Oh, I'm so silly, guys. What am I doing?
He's in a silly goofy mood.
Yeah.
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 But so I went to Mexico and it was basically paid for with that AM card, which was great. Then I went to Canada that Christmas, I think, right? Or maybe the year after, I don't know. But I had gone and worked on like a chemical plant for 5 months.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Mm.
labor work. I was
bet.
picking up bricks. Oh my gosh, it was not fun, but it was
you got
really
paid
cool.
at bank though, huh?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
7/12s. So like we worked 12 hours, 7 days a week, and you got 1 day off every 13 days. But it was
Jeez.
cool. Like, well, and like if you just work, you don't really. It goes by really fast.
Yeah.
And I was in Louisiana. So I was like basically living there and just working all the time. It was really cool though. So saved a bunch of money on that job, and I was like, you know what? Like I deserve a little trip,
Damn
right?
right.
It was like around Christmas time when that job ended. And I was like, you know what? Like I want a New York City Christmas, right? So I went to New York,
Oh, that's hard.
did like the little, you know what I'm talking about, like the little balls and like the Christmas tree and stuff, right? And then I went to Canada on that trip as well. And so I went from like New York City to Canada to Chicago, and then I flew back.
Is this by yourself or you go with somebody?
This was my ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
So like, yeah. But I was the traveler, so it was very much like I want to go here. You can come with. You know, like
Okay.
come
Yeah.
on down, right? But so did like a few days in New York City, hit like all the major stops, you know.
Yeah.
And then went to Canada, and I went to Quebec City, right? And they have like Old Town Quebec, and it looks like a Hallmark movie. Like it's stunning, right? They have all these little shops, and they all decorate them, and they've got like the Christmas lights and everything. It was beautiful, and they had the Christmas market, you know. And Canada has such like European influence, you know, especially like France and whatever. And so they had like actual vendors that weren't just like, you know, like impersonating like German food or whatever. And it was really cool. And so I had like this Swedish food, and they had like hot cider. It was amazing. 10 out of 10. And they make this whiskey there. It's called like sortilege. I don't know how to say it. Like it's definitely wrong, but it's sweetened with maple syrup, and it's like the best whiskey you'll ever have. I'm not even a whiskey person, and I could drink it straight. Like it was so good. And they make a cream version, and then they have this other wine called Caribou, and you drink it hot. And it was so good because it was like 15 degrees outside, you know, and we were like sipping on hot wine. So I bought a bottle of everything, you know, and I brought it home. It was so good, but you can only get it there unless you want to pay like $100 for the bottle.
Yeah.
But so I went to Canada, and then I don't even know, dude. I went back to Mexico in January that next year, which really sad story. My cat got put down right before that trip. And I actually was a day late to the trip, but I was like, you know, I could be sad about this here, or I could be sad about this in Mexico.
Type shit.
Right? Like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I went to Puerto Vallarta, and it was beautiful. I only spent like 2 or 3 days there, but it was stunning. Like, my friend ended up inviting me, and we ended up going, and it was just a great time. 10 out of 10. And then in March, that's when I went to, like, on my birthday trip, right? So that one was, I spent a day in London, and I stayed at a hostel there, and just like met a bunch of people at my hostel. Like it was my birthday. I didn't want to be traveling on my birthday, so we all ended up like going out, and we went to like this. We went to a jazz club, so it was a little different. It was a little different. It was more chill.
How was that?
It was awesome.
Okay.
It was beautiful.
Hell
Like they had this like disco ball, and the whole room was red, and it was cool.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
I'll have to show you some pictures of it.
Okay,
It was
bet.
really neat. And they had like this beautiful bar with like all the pretty drinks and stuff, and they had like these alligators like I don't know, glued to the ceiling, I guess. So
Yeah.
it looks like they're like walking on the roof. It was really cool.
But drinking is so different in Europe because everybody just kind of like drinks just to drink.
Oh
Instead
yeah.
of here where it's like we're all gonna drink to get fucked up.
Yeah.
So.
No. Yeah. But also like definitely a lot of them do drink to get fucked
Oh
up.
yeah,
you know?
but, like the drinking culture is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and everyone starts really young there.
Yeah.
Like that's what I learned. Whenever I'd gone backpacking, I got back in the US the day before my 21st birthday.
Oh,
So I
shit.
spent
Wow.
like 2 months in Europe just like doing whatever I wanted to because the
Right.
drinking age is 18. And then I got back and it was like cool. But yeah. But no, like they drink. That yeah, they're kind of crazy. But it just depends.
Yeah,
You know, a lot of them smoke cigarettes. That's like the big thing
that's all
there.
I've heard.
Yeah. And I'm not a fan. You know, do your thing.
Cigarettes are great.
Whatever. But it's like these people are like chain smoking. I swear to God, one of the
Yeah.
girls that I went to one of the clubs with, I shit you not, she probably smoked an entire pack while you were there.
Damn.
Like I'm not even
Uh.
kidding. It's crazy. Yeah.
That's wild.
But yeah,
So how old are you?
I'm 23.
And you've traveled 10 already.
Yeah.
So how do I word this question? Because a lot of people like they want to wait to travel or
Yeah.
they want and like I'm about it. Like I remember I told these guys I was like, look guys, next March, this is last year. Next March I'm going to Germany
Mhm.
with or without y'all. Y'all let me know if y'all want to come. I ended up going with my
You should
uncle and grandpa.
You went?
Said, yeah, hell yeah.
What
I
part
went.
of Germany did you go to?
Munich?
Okay, how'd you
Yeah,
like it?
I
I've
loved
heard it's
it.
really cool.
It's okay.
Yeah.
There's like not much to do, but I went with my grandpa and he's an older guy.
So it worked.
Yeah, I mean it's more like he couldn't walk over long distances,
Yeah.
so we ended up just like drinking a ton. But who gives a shit? 'Cause that's
Yeah.
what Germany's for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
What'd
it was
you
just
drink?
everything.
Sorry, I know I'm like cutting you off.
No, you're good.
I
you're
love
good.
asking questions.
Everything. I mean, like this was like the main one. Like,
Oh,
Paul
okay,
Honor.
cool.
Yeah. but,
Nice. So that's from Germany?
yeah. Yeah, hell yeah.
You
And then,
showed
but I
up?
went mostly because my favorite soccer team's Germany.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I went there like walked the stadium or whatever.
Is that specifically why you picked Germany?
Absolutely.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so like, cause experience is definitely worth more than any money.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Well, and life is short, you know? I had a friend a few years ago who, she was 22, got into a car accident, passed away, right? While I was working on that chemical plant, actually. And it's just, you never know. Sorry, I'm gonna get emotional. But, like, you genuinely have never know. And there are so many people who, for one, will never, ever have the opportunity or the means to travel, you know? Like I said, I mean, okay, when I went to Morocco, right? I had stayed in an Airbnb, and they have these, I don't even know what they're called, but it's almost like bed and breakfast there, and you're supposed to kind of go, like, it's more of like the traditional experience if you go there and stay there. And it's like owned by someone who lives on the property, and there's usually like 4 or 5 bedrooms, right? If even that, right? And so they'll bring you like breakfast, whatever, and it's beautiful. I'll have to figure out what they're called. Sorry. But the owner was there, and he had brought like, he was like, you want to try hookah? And I was like, sure, whatever. I've
Yeah.
never done it. Why not? So he brings it upstairs, and he was like, well, like, I'll join you. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. You know? So we're all having a conversation, and I was like, well, why don't you travel? Because he's like, oh, well, like, I wish I could, right? I was like, well, why don't you? You know? And he was like, well, it's just so expensive, right? Which it is expensive, don't get me wrong, but the dollar there was worth 10 times more than their currency.
Right.
So could you imagine like coming from a place where everything is so cheap, you know,
Mhm.
and then trying to translate that over
Yeah.
to going to another country, spending the money there? So I don't know. I feel like it's almost something that I feel like I kind of owe it to other people to do. You know?
That's tough.
I know that sounds bad, but like,
No, that's,
Yeah.
that's hard actually. Yeah.
yeah. And so my mom's disabled too. And
Oh,
so,
sorry.
no, you're fine. But like with your grandpa, like his
Mhm.
mobility, there's a lot of things that I have the ability to see right now that some people will literally never be able to
Yeah.
physically see in their life. You know, just a lot of places like historically aren't really ADA compliant or anything. So I don't know. I think that you kind of owe it to yourself and like other people
Yeah.
to do what you can.
And you go. I know you said like you obviously went backpacking by yourself,
Mhm.
and then but after that it was mostly with your ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
But like, are you in a relationship right now?
No.
So would you continue to travel by yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
See, that's hard for me. I think.
why.
I don't
Were
know.
you-
Well, I'm not as I'm not as extroverted as you are,
Mhm.
but yeah, I don't know. Seems
Were
like
you,
it's-
were you ever nervous to go off? Like the first time you went off by yourself for
Absolutely.
you?
That's why I went.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's so tough.
That reminds me
No.
of the YouTube channel. I don't know if you ever seen it, but Yes Theory.
Oh,
Like that's their whole
I've
thing.
seen it, but I am
like,
not familiar with it.
What is their thing?
Um,
Step outside your comfort
no,
zone.
it's something like that though. I mean, it's a good spin on the whole like.
Yeah, but like that's like all they do. They just do the
Yeah.
same stuff you do. They just go do the most random shit everywhere.
Yeah.
You don't film any like you don't like vlog it or anything.
I actually have contemplated it a few
Yeah.
times. I take a lot of pictures when I travel. But what I think would actually be really cool, not so much with traveling, But I think it'd be really sick to just like, have you seen rejection theory or rejection therapy? Right? So essentially it's a practice where like you'll go up to someone expecting a no, right? So like say for example you go to Chipotle or wherever you get food from, and you'll go up and be like, hey, like can I actually get this for free? You know? And you're expecting a no, right? And you're putting yourself in this environment where you want the no, right? And then typically the outcome of that is a lot of people are shocked with how many times they get a yes. Right?
Interesting.
You know? I saw a girl, which I don't know. I saw a girl doing this the other day, and I feel like pretty privilege is a different situation.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so like
Yeah.
she went up to some guy at Target and was like, "Hey, like I really want makeup, but I forgot my wallet. Like, can you pay for it?" And he said yes. Right? And she would like, so I went through her videos, but like she kept getting a yes, and she's very attractive.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, okay, well maybe that's a little skewed, but
Yeah.
like
My dad, we went to
I was about to say. You want to
yeah, we went to Double Dave's a couple months ago, and we were getting a buffet, and he just told him two, or no, he told him one. We were both standing there,
Yeah.
and he just looked at us. He was like, "Huh?" He was like, "Oh, I just want the other one for free," and then he just looked at me and was like, "I got
Okay.
you. If you don't say
Yeah.
anything, I won't say
That's so
anything." It was just like,
crazy.
"Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah. But a lot of people, I feel like, automatically like shut themselves down in their head before
Yeah.
actually like committing to the idea, you know? But what I think would be really cool is like going up to someone and like asking if you could just hang out with them at work for a day and just see what they do, you know, and film it, right?
that would
And
be
then
cool.
like you essentially get insider perspective into so many different job routes, and I feel
Yeah.
like that would be really helpful for someone trying to like learn what they want to do.
Yeah, that was actually part of the. Whenever there was a point in our podcast career where we were having a lot of people on, and they all had such different careers, and we ended up talking about it. There was a point
Yeah.
where we even thought about maybe we should just get different careers on and just learn about them.
Yeah.
But
I feel like a lot of people are kind of like expected to know what they want to do. You know?
oh, absolutely, yeah,
And that's
yeah.
hard. There's a lot of pressure in that.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like navigating the world in general, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm still figuring it out.
No, traveling alone is crazy. Like,
It was cool. I
Yeah.
would do it again in a heartbeat, but I don't think I'd go for 2 months again. Because it's just a long time to be away. And whenever anything happened, I had to deal with it. You know, like there's not anyone there to hold your hand, right? So when I lost my passport, I left my passport on a bus, right? And I go to my hostel, and it's like super late at night, and I'm tired, and I'm checking in, and the lady, she's like, "Can I see your passport?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course," right? And I start like looking through my bag, and you just see me like start to get like more and more distressed as
Yeah.
I'm looking, and I can't find it, right? And I was like, oh my God, like I cannot find my passport, you know? And the hostel I was staying at gave you like these little free drink tickets, right? And so you got one when you checked in, and she starts just like handing me more of them, you know? I was like, "That's great, thank you, I appreciate it, but I really just want my passport," you know?
Yeah.
And then you just have to like figure it out. Like there's not anyone that's gonna sit there and be like, "Okay, well, this is what you do," you know? Like
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
is the steps you have to take to fix this. Like you're stuck.
Right.
But I went and got a new passport the next morning. Like you just go to the embassy or consulate's office, wherever you are. Super easy process, right?
Mhm.
I get there and there's like this big tent with like all the little zigzag lines and people are waiting. And I was like, oh my God, it's going to take forever, right? And then there's this little tiny line and it's like, U.S. citizens? And I was like, hell yeah, right over there, you know? And I went and I had a feeling something would happen, right? So I had this little hidden pocket in my backpack and I brought my birth certificate and my social with me. Because like knowing me, I'm going to lose something at some point, right? But I didn't even need it. I just needed my driver's license. And they were like, "Okay, come back in 2 hours." I said, "Okay," right?
Oh, yeah.
And I went, I'm walking around a little mall nearby and I get pickpocketed. And someone steals my wallet out of my backpack with my ID that I need to go pick up my passport with, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So then I freak out and I'm like crying, like
Yeah.
bawling my eyes out. And I went and flagged down like a bunch of police officers, you know? And they were like, "Well, just look in the trash cans, like look in the gutters. They probably just took your cash out and dumped it." I was like, "Okay, fine." I had an AirTag in my wallet. So it keeps pinging back to like this little tiny shop that's not even literally like the size of these couches. That's like how big this shop was.
Oh,
It was
wow.
small.
Yeah.
And all of the seating is outside, right? And I go inside and I was like, "Hey, like my wallet keeps pinging here, you know?" And it says that my wallet is 16 feet below me when I'm in the shop. And so I was like, "Do y'all have a downstairs, you know, like their bathroom or something, right?" He was like, "Yeah, but you have to wait. An employee has to take you down." I said, "Okay, weird." Right?
Very.
Yeah. So we get into this elevator. The employee's operating it, you know, and I go in the bathroom and my wallet's in the trash can. Like it wasn't even euros. It was like Bulgarian money or Hungarian money, and it wasn't worth anything, you know?
Right.
I was just bringing it back for to give it to my dad. Yeah. And I go and I pick it up and I kind of was looking at the guy and he was like, how'd you know that was down there? You know? And I was like, oh, there's a tracker in it. And he goes, oh, well, a lot of people don't know what that is. And I said, a lot of people or you? You know, like, I was so mad, actually. But I was so happy to get my wallet back because I went and I got to pick up my passport, thankfully. But I literally spent the rest of the day just going around to different police stations because I was pissed.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, I think you stole my wallet. Because there were only 2 employees. It hadn't been missing for more than 30 minutes. And they had to have an employee take you downstairs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I asked the guys, I was like, did anyone go downstairs in the last, like, 20, 30 minutes? And he was like, I don't know. I was like, okay, all right.
And
But
their
whatever.
English was good.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Good enough to know that I was suspicious. You know? But, yeah. And then I got food poisoning, like, 2 days after that because I ate a fried spaghetti ball. My mistake. Really. I know. It looked really good. It smelled really good.
Yeah, it sounds really good. Yeah.
No, not a fun time. I went to the hospital. I didn't know what was going on.
Shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
it
never
was
had
bad.
food poisoning before. I thought I was
yeah.
dying.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty bad.
But yeah, it was, and my friend was actually in Switzerland at the time. And I told him, I was like, dude, like, I'm dying, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like shit, you know? And he was like, okay, well, you can come stay with me. And I said, okay, right? Because I was bouncing between, like, a different hostel, like, every 3 days, you know? And I was like, I can't do this. Like, feeling like this, I feel awful. And at the time, I was staying in a hostel where instead of, like, 2 bunk beds, it was 3. And there was this man in there, and every now and then you get, like, weird hostel people. He wasn't weird, he just, like, smelled really bad, you know? And he'd close all the windows, and so it'd get really stuffy and, like, smelly in the room, and I'm just, like, over here dying in my bed, you know? But, yeah, so I was like, I gotta get out of here, right? And so then I went and met up with my friend in Switzerland, and I just, like, felt like crap for the next 4 days, but then I was good, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, but it was really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So 2 follow-ups.
Mhm.
One, this is gonna sound worse than it is, but being a woman,
Mhm.
how do you like come over that or get over that fear? Because like
Yeah.
obviously like man privilege is a thing. So
Yeah.
how do you get over that?
Not so much. I don't feel like the fear is going anywhere, unfortunately.
Right.
That's kind of something you just have to deal with as a woman, I feel like. Where you essentially always have to be, like, hyper aware of everyone, right? But I looked into a lot of stuff before I left as to what would be a good idea, you know, or to help keep you safer. And for one, it might sound so stupid, but I bought, like, a 4-pack of AirTags, right? So I had one in my backpack, one in my wallet. I think I left one at home, and then I wore one around my neck underneath my clothes.
Smart.
Yeah. And, like, I'd tuck it underneath whatever I was wearing so you couldn't see it. And then I bought a fake wedding ring, and so I'd wear that around, and I wouldn't tell anyone I was alone unless, like, they were staying at my hostel and they knew I was alone,
Yeah.
you know? But, yeah. And, like, I mean, I was in a relationship at the time, so I wasn't, like, going home with anyone or anything. But I would just kind of be aware of that. I don't know. It's just, you just have to be aware, essentially. Like, there wasn't really any situations I feel like I got in where I was unsafe, you know?
Yeah.
But I like to just wonder, you know? And so a lot of the times I'd get into a city, like, in the middle of the day or late at night, and I'd kind of just go, like, walk around,
Yeah.
right? Which, not a good idea. I wouldn't recommend that to anyone. But I just enjoyed doing that. I would kind of, like, see what I wanted to see for the next day. You know, I'd kind of, like, take a peek at it and be like, okay, cool. Like, that would be worth my time. Like, exploring more tomorrow. Or, I saw it, I'm fine, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was doing that one day in Venice. Not at night. It was just, like, during the day. And I'm just walking around, like, the little canals, you know, doing my own little thing, whatever. And I kind of see these 2 guys, like, behind me a little bit. And I'm just kind of keeping them in mind, right? And I'm just walking, and I was like, okay, like, I'll just keep walking. Like, it'll be fine, right? And I end up walking, and I, like, hit the end of a canal. And I was like, oh, my God. And so I was like, okay, like, I got to turn around right now before these guys round this corner and realize I'm just, like, right here. And I don't know if they were following me or not, but I clearly did not know where I was going because I just went straight into water,
Right.
you know? So where could they possibly have been going? And so I just kind of, like, before they rounded the corner, I was just kind of like, whoop, you know, and I just walked the other way, and we kind of just walked past, and I don't know, nothing really happened.
Yeah.
But other than, like, people hitting on you, it's not, you
Okay.
know. But you just kind of have to figure out how to navigate those situations, you know. But that's, like, a whole deep dive,
Yeah,
you
okay.
know. But yeah.
And then my next question was,
Mhm.
you were 19, you said? No, 20.
Yeah, I was 20.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't know like your financial situation or where you like come from, but like as a 20-year-old, did you just like save up for a long ass
Yeah.
time knowing you wanted to do it?
Yeah. So at that point in time, I was working full time. So I had like a full time job. And whenever like I said, that was a pretty inexpensive trip. You know, I know that $2,500 is still a lot to have, you know, especially at our age. But for 2 months, and like I had worked a bunch of waitressing jobs, you know, and so I just kind of like saved up what I could and went from there. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's
So
cool.
were you working before you went there and you just quit or?
Yeah.
That's
And then I went
That's
back.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's
At
tough.
that point in time, actually, I think I had 2 jobs. So I was working at like a sports bar, kind of like what we were talking about, and I was an interior designer as well.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, really random. I think I was an interior designer at that point in time. It was either then or right, like I had worked for Floor and Decor, you know, and we sold flooring, and so I started off in like the wood department, and then I ended up like doing a lot in sales, so I moved to interior design, and I started doing that. So I was either selling flooring or I was interior, but it was for the same
Interesting.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I left and had no intention of coming back, and I was like, screw y'all. And then I came back 2 months later, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, you know.
And they were happily like,
Yeah.
oh wow.
It was cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it though.
You've done a whole bunch of different jobs then.
Yeah, mostly food service, like
Okay.
for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the goal now?
school.
Okay.
Yeah.
4?
Biomedical engineering.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the game plan. Like fingers crossed. When I went to San Diego, I was originally doing mechanical engineering, but then I came back and was like, I have no idea what I want to do anymore at all, and I helped like with an accounting class at one point, and I kind of just ended up taking it for somebody. I was like, oh, this is easy. Like I can do this, right?
Yeah.
So I started majoring in accounting for a little bit, but I was not passionate about it whatsoever. Like it was a fun class for me because I like how the numbers work. If you couldn't tell with the whole like $95, you know, like
Yep.
$16, yeah. Numbers just work for me.
Right.
And so I started doing accounting, and I was like, okay, I could never be an accountant. Like I couldn't just sit down
Yeah,
and do that, you know.
doesn't
Yeah.
sound fun.
Nothing against accountants. We need them, but
Boring.
yeah, right. But yeah. So I decided recently to like go back for biomedical, like with a focus in prosthetics. Yeah.
Oh,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dang.
So we'll see.
Interesting.
So you're just gonna like lock in and not go on any trips for a while, or
That's kind of what's
are you
been
fighting
happening.
that urge?
Yeah.
Sounds lame.
It is lame. That's what I'm saying. So guys, I kind of get myself into like really random side quests. Like obviously I'm here, right?
Yeah.
But the last trip I went on, I actually went to Vegas, right? And it was when I was working at Tipsy's. Okay. These 2 guys came in. This is gonna make me sound insane, by the way. Like I'm so sorry, but
No, it's okay.
I'm fine. Obviously I survived. But
Right.
these 2 guys came in. Never met them before, and they were probably both like 40, like late 30s to mid 40s. And we just start yapping it up. You know, we're having a good little time. We're
Yeah.
chatting, whatever. And they're like, okay, we're gonna go to a football game, right? They work at the golf course that I work at now. One of them does, right? And he like is higher up in, I don't want to say the maintenance of the golf course, but like the greens, you know, like the
Okay.
important part, right? And so we kind of started talking about that golf course, and I was like, man, like I've really been thinking about working there, you know. And he was like, oh, like I'll get you in, right? I said, okay, bet, right? He's like, I'll get you the manager's number, like I'll put in a good word for you, and you can go interview or something with him, you know. I was like, sounds cool, awesome, have fun at the football game. They leave, right? They come back, they're a little tipsy now, you know.
Type.
Yeah, and so I get him a few more drinks. Like we're like I said, we're joking around, having a good little time. And he was like, okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but we're going to Las Vegas next week for my bachelor party, and we're going golfing all weekend, and we're trying to find someone to like come and like serve us drinks on the like for the trip. Yeah, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
Yeah, like I actually don't want to get trafficked, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, let me think about that. But he was like, okay, we'll pay you $1,000 and we'll pay for your hotel and your flights, right? And I was like, okay, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
But I was in school at the time and I had work. And it was like right before finals, or it was like right after finals or something. I don't know. And it was a week away. So I was like, okay, dude, like, let me see if I have, like, I'm trying to think of all of the excuses I could possibly think of, right? And I was like, I don't know, like, I might have finals, I might have class, like, I might be scheduled for work, like, I don't know if I can go, right? So I start checking all of these things, and I don't have any finals that day. I don't have class, and I'm only scheduled for, like, one day to work, because it was only, like, a 2 or 3 day trip, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like, yeah, sure, why not?
Fuck it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I asked a few people that knew him, because there was like a guy who worked at the course, and he was one of our regulars. So I was like, hey, do you know this guy? Like, am I gonna get kidnapped? You know? And I had his name on Facebook, so I was like, oh, I'll be fine, right?
Yeah.
So I go, and super random, but my radiator overheats on the way to the airport, so I ended up having to get like my car towed to a gas station.
Yeah.
And I guess rejection theory example right here. I had my car towed to the gas station, and I go inside, and I was like, hey, like, am I gonna get towed if I leave this here over the weekend? And they're like, nah, you can just park it here. I said, okay, cool,
Cool.
right? Yeah, great. So they were like, yeah, we'll keep an eye on it for you, like, over the weekend, you know, as long as you just come and pick it up in a few days. I said, bet. Right?
Nice.
Free parking?
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
And the tow. Okay, guys, actually, this gets better. So my radiator's overheating, and I'm like a mile from the exit, right? So at this point, I pull over, and then I just like get back on the road for a few seconds, then it get too hot again, and I pull back over, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like inching my way over. And I'm getting very discouraged because I never save myself enough time at the airport, you know? And I'm like, man, like, I'm getting real close, right? And this cop pulls behind me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get a ticket, right? And he was like, hey, what's going on? You know, it's like, it's a little hot, right? It's steamy.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, I can get you a free tow if you want. I was like, hell yeah, I do.
Wow.
Absolutely. So he was like, well, do you think you can make it over there? And I was like, yeah, I've been trying to for the last 10 minutes. Like, so we pull over, we're yapping. Like, obviously, I talk a lot if you haven't picked that up by now. Yeah. So we're chopping it up, right? He was like, yeah, they're on their way. Where do you need to go? I was like, dude, there's a gas station right over there I'm trying to get to, right? I just need some coolant. We'll be good. So they tow me. Nice guy, right? We get to ride in the little tow truck, you know, we go to the gas station, and I go in and I ask them if they have any coolant. That's how we got on the topic of me leaving it there. And they were like, no, we don't have any, but AutoZone is across the street. And I was like, I don't know if I can make it there, guys. He was like, why? Like, your car overheat? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, you can just leave it there. I said, bet, right?
Yeah.
So I go on the trip, had an amazing time, by the way. We ended up going, side note, I've never been golfing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't golf. But we ended up going to like these 2 beautiful courses. One was TPC, I think is what it's called, or JPC. I think it's TPC though. And then we went to another one, which was like Spirit something, but it's the number 3 hardest course in America, apparently.
Okay.
And it was just stunning. It was like up in the hills, and you could see like the mountains in the background. It was just beautiful.
You were just serving drinks?
Yeah. Like, they would be like, hey, we want this, you know, because they didn't have cart girls on the courses, or like they only had like 1 or 2, so they'd take forever to come back around to you. So I got my own little golf cart, and I think there were 10 guys, I want to say 12, something like that.
Yeah.
And so what I'd do is I'd take my little golf cart and I'd hop around to the different groups, you know, and I'd be like, hey, like, what do you want? And they'd be like, we want 2 course, whatever, right? And they'd hand me cash, and then I get to keep the change. So like yeah, it was great. And then like at night we just like all hop around the casino, and like some of them paid for me to go like play blackjack too. It was great. I had a great
that sounds
time.
awesome.
You know, yeah.
Damn.
I got to eat for free. You know, it was cool.
Yeah, that sounds sick.
I ended up getting my own hotel just for like safety reasons. Another
Valid.
like, you got to be conscious, because it weirded me out to have someone else's name on the room I was staying in, because theoretically they could just go up and be like, oh, like, I lost my key.
True.
Like, can I get a new key, you know? So I ended up staying at a different hotel, like on a different side of town, but I just Uber and meet up with them, you know? But yeah, it was cool.
Hell yeah.
And there was like a time where they needed more beer, and so they were like, hey, like, here's cash, like, go to the liquor store. And I said, sounds good. And then the time before that, the last place I went to was Arizona for like 1 night. I think it was like 2 days, right? And another very random encounter that I shouldn't have been in, but it was really entertaining. I had gone on a date with this guy, right? And super nice guy, okay? And we had just gone out once, and we were supposed to go on a different date, right? And we ended up like not being able to, because he got like a flat tire, and so I hadn't really like seen him at all. We had like texted off and on, and like a month or 2 after that, I want to say, he was like, hey, like, I'm going back to visit my family in Arizona this weekend. You know, like, I'm going for a promotion and this Halloween party. And I was like, cool, sounds great. Like, have fun, you know?
Yeah.
And like a few days later, he texted me. He was like, okay, this might sound so crazy, but do you want to come with? I was like, I don't know. Like, I literally,
Yeah.
this is weird. Like,
I just met you. Like,
yeah. And I was like, well, maybe.
Fuck
Right?
it.
That's exactly what I did. Like, I'm not even kidding. And yeah, so I went. It was super fun. Had a great time. His parents ended up, like, he worked in a company that his dad kind of, like, owned, I guess is a good way of putting it. So they had, like, it was like a sales company, but then they opened an office in Houston. So he worked for the office in Houston, but it was like partner. I don't really know.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And so I went, and they were doing like a promotion that day, or like the next morning. So we went out in Arizona that night. They did like a promotion the next morning, and then they did a Halloween party that night. And his dad was like a former like UFC fighter or something. I don't know. So they knew a
Damn.
bunch of people, and they had a bunch of money, you know? And they were all really nice. It just wasn't really my crowd, you know? Like, I got there and I was like, oh my God, like, we're in a different tax bracket right now. Like, I don't know about this, you know? Which, great for them. But they're doing this party, and they have, like, a bunch of people come over, and we started, like, talking to this guy about, like, his travels, right? He was like, yeah, I just got back from Mexico, like, filming for this show, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what the hell, right? He was The Bachelor a few years ago.
No shit.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
What the fuck?
I don't watch The Bachelor, so I had no idea,
Yeah.
right? But we like walked away, and he was like, yeah, he was in The Bachelor. And I was like, oh, okay,
Whoa.
cool, right? So he'd been filming like some show with Netflix, like
Whoa.
in Mexico or something. And I was like, cool, great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool for you, but like that's so random.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did he look like a bachelor? Was he like hot?
He was tall, you
Okay.
know? Like, I'd say he was attractive. I feel like he had an accent, but I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah. But, yeah. Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
you just have fucking stories.
Yeah,
for
you have no
days.
idea.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's kind of really ridiculous. But,
No,
yeah.
that's super cool.
But now I've just been chilling. Now I've just been slaving away.
Yeah.
You know, a slave to capitalism again, if you will.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. But I'm back to one job now, guys.
Yeah,
Yay.
hell yeah.
I had two for a little bit. But, yeah.
Just to like, just to get more money.
Oh,
Or,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I thought about it, then I was like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I my transmission went out in my car this semester,
Mm.
like in the middle of the semester, so I had to drop all my classes. And I was like, because I go to school in the Woodlands, by the way.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
You live here?
hmm?
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm not doing school, I might as well just work as much as I can.
Yeah,
you know?
valid.
So yeah. But then I had to keep paying for my car because it kept messing up. So, but I got a new car, guys.
You got a new car?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a Toyota.
Nice.
Toyota gang. Do you have a Toyota too?
I do.
Oh, okay, cool. What is
Fuck
it?
yeah. Corolla.
Hell yeah, I have
Yeah,
a Corolla
hybrid.
Cross.
Yeah.
Hybrid.
Yeah,
Oh,
hybrid Corolla, yeah.
nice. Gas
go
mileage.
crazy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I bet.
I fill up maybe like every 3 weeks for 20
Oh
bucks.
my god.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Must be nice.
Yeah, it's sick.
I drive a lot in it, so I definitely fill up like a lot.
Mm.
But I also don't. I'll just put like $20 in it. But it doesn't fill it up for me, unfortunately. So yeah.
So speaking of your jobs,
Mm-hmm.
so you worked the sports bar stuff. You worked at Tipsy's here.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick your brain on that or we wanted to,
Yeah.
cause yeah, I just like how true are the stereotypes? I guess of like, do you like
Ooh.
obviously you get the guys right?
Yeah.
Who are like annoying. But-
Then you get like the creeps too.
Okay. Do you have any
Yeah.
creep stories
Yeah. Yeah. I
that
do.
you don't mind telling?
Yeah. Hopefully he never sees this, but we had a regular that we called Creepy Professor, right? Because he was a professor at the school.
I'll blur it. I'll take out his name.
I don't know what his name is.
Ah,
No, I'm
shit.
so sorry. I wish I could tell you.
Ah,
No
okay,
clue.
that's okay.
I'm sorry. He'd probably be really sad to hear that too. Like he was
That'd be
something.
remembered.
No, he would literally come in and visit me like every Friday morning, right?
Morning.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'd usually work by myself on Friday mornings, right? And I feel bad because like he wasn't a bad guy. He was just a little creepy.
The
you
vibes
know?
were off. Yeah.
The vibes were very off, right? And we'd always drink the same thing. And eventually it got to the point where I didn't necessarily want to talk to him because, like, you'd get a solid 10, 15 seconds of conversation in, and you're like, okay, he's having a good day, right? And then it's like creep something, you know? And it's like, okay, never mind.
So like what would he say that would like?
One time he asked me, I was trying to have a conversation with him because he teaches a certain subject. And I was like, oh, my mom teaches that, right? And he goes, oh, is she as hot as you? And I was like, okay, right, yeah. You know, I thought we were
That's wild.
relating
No
for a
fucking
second there.
way. So this dude
Um,
is straight up bold like that.
Yeah, right? I've heard he's married
Whoa.
too, which don't quote me on that.
What
But
does he teach? If you want me to ask?
English.
I wouldn't know. Damn it.
English 1301.
No. Yeah,
So
I took-
18-year-olds.
Yeah, because I taught. No, I
Yeah.
took college or I took that in high school.
That's
So
wild.
Yeah, but like he would come in and like stare at like all the girls, which if you're coming in and doing that when you know that college age girls work there, you're probably doing that to your students too. And he would tell me about his
Valid.
students too.
like
He'd
in
be
a
like-
creepy way.
Yeah, he told me that.
Whoa.
Oh yeah,
That's
I have like
so
insider
crazy.
information, guys.
Oh my god. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
So he told me that he had this Turkish girl in his class, and he was like, "Man, like she was so hot, I just wanted to pass her," you know? Yeah. I was like, "Oh,
That's
okay,
crazy.
all right."
What
Yeah.
the fuck? Pretty
Yes.
privileged for real though.
Oh my god, yeah,
No, that's a little too much
seriously,
though, right?
yeah. But and then he told me one time, what did he say? Oh, there was this comic book character, and her name's like, I think it's like Adia or something like that. I don't know, but Red Sonja, that's what it is. Look it up. She's like basically naked, you know.
Okay.
I think I know that.
And he'd be like, "You remind me of her," you know? Yeah. And I was like,
So
okay.
weird.
Yeah. And I didn't know who he was talking about at first, right? And he was like, "Go look her up. Go look her up." I was like, okay, right? And I go look it up, and she's like, damn near naked. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, okay. And then he'd be like, "So what do you think?" You know, I was like, I think I
That's
don't want to have this
weird.
conversation. And then he came in a few times after that and was like reading a book. I can show you what picture I'm talking about
You like
too.
this one?
No.
Oh.
So I'm so sorry. Let me just like,
Here, you want to grab it?
yeah. It was this picture. Yeah.
That's worse than the one I showed you.
Yeah, I know. That's
What
why I
the
had to tell you.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then he brought in a book like a few times after that and would be reading. It was about her. And he'd be sitting there like reading it and just like looking at me,
so
right?
Fucking weird.
And he had me come over and like read an excerpt from the book one time where it was like vividly describing her. And he was like, "That's what I think about you." And I'm like,
Okay, so as a
help.
yeah, because like, so when you do this, like, have you ever just been like, "Nah, fuck that," or do you just do it? You're like, "Whatever, good tip." Like, what's
It's
that?
not.
mindset
He
go
only
through?
tipped $10 every single time.
What
So
the
one
fuck?
time I got $15 though. You know.
Hell yeah!
Right?
Hell yeah!
No. Yeah. Yes and no. Okay. I feel like I've been kind of like a bit of a chronic people pleaser, you know? So I feel like the service industry just like works for that, right? But I'm working on it, guys. But I don't know, with Tipsies, they were respectful of the girls after a certain point, right? So like there was another time where a guy like actually grabbed me, you know?
Oh
And
shit!
yeah, it was a whole thing. But and they like kicked him out immediately. You
Good.
know?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. And in that instance, it was like, okay, like that's great. But then if people just say like weird stuff, it's just not really a thing. But the job that I work at now has a zero tolerance policy for that. So,
Good.
but it's not a
That's
bar.
good.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like a country club. So, but it's significantly better in regards to that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But yeah, there's always been like creeps though, and like people ask you for your number, your Instagram or whatever, you know.
People I assume leave their numbers on Instagram, like on
Yeah.
their receipts and stuff.
Yeah, a lot. Which is really funny if they like don't tip. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It's
Am I-
like,
is
show me
this-
you got something.
This isn't even 20%. Like, what are we talking about? Yeah. But yeah.
Because we always tip well when we go. But
I
mostly
feel like
just
y'all
'cause-
did.
Mostly just because, like, y'all
It's 'cause
provided
we-
really good service.
Because we
Yeah.
drink a fuck ton
No,
every
dude,
time
they
we-
Yeah.
lost. I don't want to just like slander Tipsies, but
Well, I mean, I can always cut out the name if you prefer it.
yeah, I don't, yeah. But they lost like 6 of their girls in like a week.
Shit.
Yeah, so it's all new people now.
I feel like
so
I
don't-
noticed.
Yeah,
I
I noticed
noticed
on
that
the
the last
Instagram.
time I went.
Yeah. But it just, I don't know. I feel like with any small town employer, there's gonna be like
Yeah.
its own problems and issues, you know. But there are gonna be stuff that they do really well too, you know.
Yeah.
So it just depends. But yeah, I don't know. While I worked there, I mean, it was pretty good money, you know. And like you'd have a lot of regulars, which would help out a lot. So, but
Yeah, we were at one point. They were like, girls were like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" We're like, "Hey, what's up?"
hey.
Yeah.
But I feel like they kind of got expensive though, a little bit, you know. That's what a lot of people would tell me.
I didn't
For
look
just-
that hard.
Oh,
I'll be
okay,
honest.
sorry,
yeah,
big
I just-
baller.
yeah, well, yeah. Okay, then last question on that. Or for me at least.
Yeah.
Do y'all flirt with guys just to get more tips? Like, do y'all go with that intention, or y'all just genuinely like usually extroverted, nice people who just talk to people?
So I feel like I joke around a lot, you know, and I think a lot of people do take that as flirting, but I get nervous when I flirt. You know, like I'm not, if I'm actually like
Right, yeah,
interested in somebody, I'm not just like flirting, you know? And so yes and no, you know? Like I think that there gets to a point in the conversation where it's like, okay, like this is very much not where it's like a question, you know, like it's not like just fun anymore. And now it's like, okay, they're taking this seriously. And that's where I feel like you kind of have to back off, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like banter is a great way of putting it, right? So it's not so much flirting. It's more so like I'll make a joke. But it also, I tailor it. Like in the service industry, I feel like you have to tailor it to your customers.
Fair enough.
You know? Like the way that I treat a table of women is probably going to be a little different than the way I treat a table of guys or a family, you know?
Right.
So, but I wouldn't, I don't know. I feel like you joke around. Yeah. And I think it is a little different when you're not in a relationship versus when you are in a relationship, you know, because you kind of have that out. But, I don't know. Yes and no.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
the reason I asked that question is because, you know, there are those guys who like will go to places like that, whether it's Tipsy's or Hooters or something. They're like, oh yeah, she wants me. And it's like,
She wants me so bad.
Yeah, and it's like, no,
I'm
dude,
in
that's her
here.
fucking job. Like, fucking
no,
no.
seriously.
Yeah.
I also think though, this might be a hot topic, but I
That's what we're here
think
for.
right.
Yeah.
This is the hot seat. You know.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
I think that a lot of guys aren't capable of differentiating a lot of things, especially like I feel like a lot of people that worked at Tipsy's were pretty, like they're pretty, you know, and so I don't know. I don't think a lot of guys are able to differentiate when a woman's being nice and when a woman is hitting on them, right? The reason for that, because I feel like a lot of men don't take a lot of interest in people they're not interested in pursuing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, I
like,
think about it,
yeah. So I feel like it's kind of like a different perspective, right? Like I can just go be nice to someone and compliment someone just because I want to compliment them, not necessarily because I want to talk to them or flirt with them or whatever, you know? Like I'm really good at noticing haircuts, you know? So, and I feel like a lot of guys don't get compliments. Like you'll just,
We don't. It's okay,
yeah. Well, y'all kind of created that environment, I fear, you know? Y'all gotta compliment one another.
We compliment each
Oh,
other.
you're good.
Yeah.
A little too much.
Yeah, well, actually,
Don't.
dude, you're hot, bro. I'm sorry. No, actually, I complimented today. I've been thinking about it all day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and that's great.
Yeah.
You know, so like I'll try and like pay people compliments, and I think that typically if a guy is complimenting someone, it's usually from like an interest standpoint. What do you like if it is someone of the opposite sex?
No, okay, there you go.
You feel like-
yeah.
Right? Not like obviously not the bros. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think for me personally, like, I wouldn't go out and compliment a girl simply because of that stigma.
Yeah, because
So,
they're gonna
like,
think that.
Right. Yeah. Because there have been times where, like when I've been at my job for about a year now, and a lot of my coworkers, they dress very nice. They usually have really nice like outfits on. And at first, I would go to say it, I'm like, oh wait, no, I don't want to be that weird creep, like new coworker. But now that I'm more comfortable around them, finally, I'm like,
Oh, my fault.
finally, I'm like, oh yeah, I really like that jacket because you know they're like
Put together, yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, but so like yeah, I guess you're right. I'm not gonna compliment you unless I have that. Well, I don't. Women are scary. I don't talk to
Relationship.
women.
Oh yeah, you know. Sorry.
There's been times where I've like seen a woman and I'm like, I'd compliment them. I'm not interested in them, but I notice something about them that's just like that's cool or that's
Good.
something. But like I just don't say anything because that.
Like
The
you said,
stigma,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't want to be that guy that's creepy.
Yeah.
So I just
well,
can't.
I feel like you can kind of tell, you know, like I know this sounds so silly, but it's almost the way someone looks at you, you know? So like, I don't know if y'all, okay. I feel like every time I've talked to a woman about this, they've understood, right? And it's not necessarily about if someone says something to you or if someone touches you or does anything to you, like you can see how they're looking at you, right? It's almost like they're like,
yeah.
It's almost like they're like undressing you, like with
With
their
their
like,
eyes. Yeah, I know what they're talking about. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So I feel like if you are coming from things like from a genuine point of view, you know, like you're just like complimenting someone like, oh, that's a nice outfit today. Like you look nice today, right? You did your hair different. That looks good, you know? Or I like your shoes, right? I feel like I don't know. I feel like you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
I guess a good way of putting it. But also like, what's the worst that can happen? They misunderstand you and you're like, no, like that.
I'm also scared of women.
Oh, okay.
Women
yeah.
are scary. Like, women
Why?
are scary. What do you mean
I've
why?
heard-
Y'all are
what?
scary.
Yeah,
Women are scary.
Yeah, they're pretty scary.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It goes back to the rejection thing, though. I think that too. But,
Yeah.
You know.
See,
Oh,
men
I've
are
been
scary
rejected a
because
lot.
y'all can I feel like I've always been taught like growing up to not like to soften the blow with a lot of things, so I feel like a lot of women, if you do like reject somebody, you're almost seen as like a bitch, right? You know?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like you know how many times people have been like, not even just like to me, but like examples that I've heard from other women, or we'll joke about it, where they'll be like super like complimenting you, like this and that, blah blah blah, and you'll be like, no, like I'm not interested, or like I have a boyfriend. They'll be like, oh, you're ugly anyways, bitch. Like I'm not even kidding. Like yeah, it happens.
Okay.
And a lot of
That's
guys will get
crazy.
angry with rejection. And one of the number one reasons why men kill women is from rejection.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So then it's like, it's the people pleaser in me, and then it's also like, I don't want to get murdered,
Yeah,
And I know
okay.
that sounds so bad to think about, or like
Yeah.
super dramatic or whatever,
Yeah.
but that is something that you kind of have to keep in the forefront of your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and I think that's what like sucks is because like I feel like with guys, especially from a woman's perspective, it's either like one or the other. It's like you like they don't talk to women or they're assholes when it comes to like that kind of interaction. So,
Yeah. But also
I think that's why
confidence,
it's-
just like,
Oh yeah, but
yeah, that's the hard part.
yeah, that
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But I don't know. Worst case scenario, like, you just make someone, I don't know. They take it the wrong way, but if you
Yeah.
didn't have bad intentions with it.
yeah,
Like,
that's
you know.
fair. I get
Yeah?
it. Well, like for me, and I know we've had this conversation before, but what are you laughing at?
That about when you shut down in the
Oh
aisle.
no! Don't fucking tell. No, okay. I
No, we have
told
to
that
hear it.
story. You want me to tell? You can tell it.
You can tell if you want.
Okay, so it was Halloween 23, and we were getting ready for the podcast episode, and so me and Devin were looking at costumes, and I was like, we were standing in front of like the sexy suits. It'd be funny if we dressed up like maids or like nurses.
That's
or
so
whatever.
funny.
So we were standing there, and and these girls came up. Obviously, we were in their way because we were looking at the women's stuff.
Yeah.
And I turned, and they're very attractive girls. So my first reaction is to try to back up, but my body didn't move. So I just went.
I stepped out of the
Oh.
way. And then Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you can
Oh.
you can continue from there.
Yeah,
Like,
so I was like behind Mal more. So he's just like in front of me. And I saw them and I like stepped out of the way. I said, excuse me. And I expected Mal to just come with me. And I just watched him hit up. And I was like, Mal.
no, literally, bro. And I think it was more so just the fact that like, why were two men looking at these sexy like, So yeah, it just didn't work out. And then for me specifically, I don't leave my house, so it's either I'm in the house, work, or gym.
Yeah.
And the work and the gym are two spots that I don't want to like make girls uncomfortable. So
Yeah, that's understandable.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. I've definitely been at the gym. It was a high schooler. I'll say this, But I was like, there's like a mirror, and then there's like the bench, and there's that space between, and like the dumbbells, like the free weights. And I'm like at the back of the bench, and he comes up in between the bench and the free weights and starts doing push-ups like directly in front of me. And I was like, dude, really? There's like so many other spots we could have done this at.
Yeah.
But-
Ironworks?
No, a Life Advocate.
Okay.
The warehouse gym.
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, not that the twins that aren't twins own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Love those guys.
Yeah. I've met
They're
them
cool.
a handful of times. They're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I saw them today actually. That's where I was earlier. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. They're cool guys.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
And their gym has grown so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They used to have another location that was a lot smaller from what
Mhm.
I've heard. I never went. But
Yeah. Well, it's actually I didn't even try them out because I heard like they didn't have metal plates. Their dumbbells only went up to 50s, and I was like, there's no point.
Yeah.
But
It's cool. I think they've done really well for themselves.
Are they on the square or
no,
Are they
they're
at the warehouse?
They're
You know
by,
where the
they're
KA
by
has?
your
By the
parents'
college?
place.
You know where the feed store is?
it's across from there?
Yeah.
That warehouse.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's cool though. But
I
yeah,
don't go to the gym.
that's okay. I like it. I like feeling strong,
That's how I got complimented today.
Hell yeah.
I was talking to someone higher up in my agency,
Yeah.
and he was like, "I need to recruit you. You got all the big muscles." And I was like, "Damn right, bro! Like,
Stop
fuck yeah!"
it.
Yeah, no, literally, I was like, "Don't look at me."
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it was nice.
I think everyone could do with more compliments,
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you see something nice, like that you like. I'll be like, oh, I like your nails. Like I like your
Yeah.
hair. Like that's a cute shirt,
Yeah.
right? Why not? What are you gonna do?
I feel like I just feel like it is like again. You're right. It comes with the intention, but nah, I couldn't do it. to women at least.
There's
I do it
rejection
to
therapy.
guys. I do it to guys a lot.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, like especially when they have like really nice tattoos. I'll be like, oh, your tattoo, bro.
Yeah, I saw your hand.
Yeah.
And your other ones. Which one's your favorite?
That's a great
Tough question, I know.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I have one right here.
Mhm.
It's a bean. It's a
Like-
bean with a sombrero and like a beer.
Cool. Okay,
and a
cool.
mustache, so it's like
Yeah.
a beaner bean.
I get it. Yeah.
So that one's. I'm
That's
gonna add
funny.
some more to it, but
Yeah?
yeah. That
Do y'all
one.
have any?
Not yet.
No?
One
Yeah.
day when I feel like paying for mine, because
Yeah,
I want
that's
a whole
fair.
sleeve. So
Okay,
that's
nice.
a big chunk of money.
Sick.
So
What are you thinking of getting for the sleeve?
it's gonna be prison themed,
Cool.
because my family's my dad a lot
Yeah.
prison, not
Yeah.
in it, but
Around
I can't
it?
go too much into it.
Yeah,
but,
that's okay.
but it's gonna be like themed like that, and it's gonna like I want basically like imagine a cell's lock for
Cool.
each one of my family members, and it's
Nice.
each design for them. It's kind of weird, but
Hey, it's your body. Yeah, that's cool though.
and
Those
that's all I
ideas are
know.
good.
I hopefully the artist I get can like
Like,
Do
help you
it for
picture
me,
it.
'cause-
Well, don't they draw it out first too?
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any tattoos?
I do. I have two. So I have one. Hold on. Oh, I have this one. And it's like, it
Oh.
looks really stupid, I promise, but it's got a good little meaning. So it's got like a circle and a square.
Mhm.
And there's this speech. It's called Who Are You and What Are You Doing Here? And it's a long speech, but he has this one little portion in it where he talks about how like you can spend your whole life trying to fit like your circular peg inside the square hole of whatever you're doing, right? And like it'll fit, obviously, but it might not fulfill you up. Or like might not fulfill you or fill you up or
That's
whatever.
tough.
So it's a reminder like sometimes we're forcing things to fit and it might not be the right thing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard.
That's cool.
Thanks. And then I have one that looks like a tooth. But it's not a tooth. It's supposed to be like one half of a broken bone and I got it in Mexico and it was just like, yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
is there a meaning behind that one?
Well, I broke my leg. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
And like the person I was with at the time, we started like we got together because I'd broken my leg and like he stayed and like took care of me and everything. It was a whole thing. So we got two halves of a broken bone and I was like, well, you know, if this doesn't work out, I can just get the other half, right? But it looks like a wisdom tooth. Like,
man.
yeah. So
Like
could
from
be
like from the
worse.
beginning or just like from the fate, like from the years.
No, we got it like a day into dating. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm talking about like
Sorry.
the tooth, like
Oh, it absolutely, yeah.
from the beginning.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
a tooth?
Like I sent my
Oh.
friend a picture and she was like, "Why did you get a tooth?" And I was like, "Oh,
shit. Yeah.
Oh, that
word."
sucks.
Is it
Got
big?
No, it's
Oh,
not
you-
super big. It's on my side right here. But
Okay.
it's like,
Oh, it's on your side. Yeah,
not
you're
that
good.
big. Yeah.
if
And I
anything,
think
you
it's
get it covered
funny,
up.
you
Oh,
know?
okay.
Like, well, see, I thought that too, you know, but I don't know. Like, that was still. I thought about getting some other tattoos for some other friends that I've had too. Like my friend who passed away, she had an 8-ball on her ankle, and I was thinking about getting one of those at some point,
That's
just
cool.
like in her memory.
Yeah.
And I had been best friends with a girl who her mom had passed away actually, and we had gone and watched the sunset on Mother's Day one year, like the year after she passed away. And we were looking at the clouds, and at the bottom of one of the clouds was just like this like bright red line, right? And I'd never seen that before. Like it was just so strange. So I thought about getting like a red line tattoo for her.
That'd be
But
cool.
now we're not friends anymore. It was a very big
Never mind
fallout.
then. Never
Yeah.
mind then.
But like I wouldn't have regretted it, you know, because
Yeah.
that was still
Mhm.
significant enough to me at that point in time to get
Ooh.
it tattooed on me.
That's tough too.
You know? Yeah. So like, I don't know. Kind of when it I feel like whenever people like look back on their past with a lot of things, sometimes they'll slander people or
Yeah.
whatever they were doing,
Mhm.
you know, and I can absolutely understand that because people oftentimes don't treat us how we want them to.
Yeah.
You know? But they were still important enough in your life to treat you that way.
Correct.
Does that make any sense?
Right,
You know? So like yeah, stuff happens, especially in like cases of like abuse or anything like that. Like there's no justifying that behavior.
Right.
But like that was still like I wouldn't regret that time spent, you know, like you learn from it,
For sure.
right? Or like
Yeah.
not to accept that again.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like, no matter how bad it was, that still made you the person you are today.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and like you can't change it.
Yeah.
You know. So
Why stress out about something you can't change?
yeah, for sure. Which is very hard. Like very easy to say in theory, you know, but not like
Absolutely.
in practice it's very hard.
Yeah.
You know. But I don't know. That's a my I don't know if I've told you all this. So my dad's 83, right?
I think I do remember you
I feel
having
like we
an old
talked
dad.
about this. Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
think all the way back
that's
in
the
school.
guy.
Yeah.
So
Thought my dad was old.
I do what?
I thought my dad was old.
How old your dad?
66.
That's still like decently old.
Yeah, I mean,
how
it's-
old was he when he had you? 40 something.
43,
I thought she
44.
was gonna say that's not that old. That's pretty fucking old.
Yeah, that's pretty old.
Yeah.
No, so like we would okay, he was friends with like this older couple. And we'd go to McDonald's every day and like meet up with them.
Fuck yeah.
Right? You know? Because one of like his older like guy friend had COPD, so he couldn't go very far, and he had like an oxygen tank, and I guess McDonald's was right down the road. I don't know.
Sure.
And I feel like I met so many like older people and like got that perspective from being around him and the people he was like friends with and talked to or like ate with. And a lot of them would say like one of their biggest regrets was like not like getting out and seeing the world, you know, like traveling, like spending a lot of time working, you know, just because life does pass by very fast.
Yeah, very.
So I don't know. I feel like that was kind of like one of my personal missions was to try and not live a life filled with regret, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
and travel, right?
yeah. Oh, yeah, that part. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, worst case scenario, something doesn't work out. What are you going to do? Do something else? You know?
Yeah,
Like,
you're right.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I completely understand. The people at work tell me I don't care enough, and I was like, it's not that. It's just that.
I don't get paid to care.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, shit happens, then you die.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and it's life. Like, you don't want to wrap your whole life around your workplace.
1000%.
You know?
Yeah.
They'd drop you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but genuinely.
Most places will, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, most places will.
I
Yeah.
heard a thing a while back, and it was like, essentially, like, don't stress about someone who wouldn't show up to your funeral, right? So, like,
that's
your
a
employer-
bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy, though? Like, think of all the times you've been, like, caught up in work or, like, some stupid drama that doesn't even involve people that really care about you that much or involves people that you don't, you know? And you get, like, so caught up and involved in it, and you're like, man, like, this person really wouldn't,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be there,
Valid.
you know?
That's why I
Yeah.
quit my last job
Where were you working?
at Pepsi.
Yeah? My dad, not Pepsi, but, like, wasn't, like, RC Cola a thing for a little bit?
yeah,
Or is it still
yeah.
a thing?
Yeah.
He used
I
to
think
drive
they're
for
under
them.
Dr. Pepper.
Oh, cool.
But yeah.
What'd you do there?
I drove. I delivered.
Yeah?
To everywhere.
Did you drink a lot of Pepsi?
I did actually.
That's-
Not Pepsi, but Mountain Dew because I already
Pepsi
love
products.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
But
cool.
that was like the worst time period of my life.
Yeah.
I was like there a year and a half, and they probably know it more than I do because they saw me. I just like saw myself.
Well, you
in the
just feel
mirror,
like a
but
robot. You know?
It was rough,
Yeah.
but I'm
I-
chilling now.
Good. What are you
I
doing now?
think.
I feel like we talked about this.
I work for the city,
Yeah.
pick up trash.
Cool. Oh, yeah. Someone's got to do it. You know? Right?
It's not that dirty.
No.
It's pretty dirty sometimes.
I am
but-
very grateful for the people that pick up our trash.
Fucking
Believe me.
valid.
Yeah.
Well, most people aren't. So
Why? They say that. Did you see, like, in Paris where they stopped picking up trash for, like, a week or two in protest? And the city just got, like, disgusting?
yeah, if we stop for a week, like
Yeah.
it would
Y'all
be-
should do that to get paid more.
That's exactly what they did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should strike on
Union,
strike, bro.
yeah.
Yeah. Are y'all part of a union?
Huh?
Are y'all part of a union?
No.
Oh fuck, never mind.
I say nobody appreciates this, but actually
your workplace doesn't appreciate you.
that is true. But Wednesday, Chick-fil-A, they have like a little toddler time thing when like while the moms will bring their little kids and stuff, and
Yeah.
they wanted us to come and show off like a garbage truck, and I just got a brand new garbage truck, so
That's
I was
so
the one that
cool.
went there.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I got to show a whole bunch of little kids like a garbage truck and stuff, and I'm terrible with kids, so I was like nervous,
You're like,
but
"There's
it
the
was
truck."
fun. It was cool. I had a little kid come up and give me a hug. I was like,
So sweet.
okay, but I gave him a hug. That was cool.
Yeah, that's
That's
super
fun.
cool. That's
That is
super cool. Yeah.
And I feel like they love, like, the trucks. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, they all were like, well, not them, but their parents said, you probably just like made their year. I was like, bet.
That's a good
Fuck
feeling.
yeah.
Somebody appreciated me.
Hell
This
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Might have been a little 3-year-old, but
No, I think the city appreciates you. It's just your employers who don't.
Yeah.
true. Hopefully, I don't
Yeah.
know. A
Hopefully
lot
it
of
gets
people
better.
complain.
Sorry, bro. People hate me at work too. Not like the public hates me too at work. So sorry.
Yeah.
Be like that.
And yeah. What do you do,
You
Nick?
haven't said anything.
Yeah.
Say something.
I've just been listening. Oh, this is
Yeah.
great. I also work for the city.
Yeah?
I work for like the parks department. Yeah. So
Cool.
I like mow and stuff, take care of the parks and stuff.
Nice. What's your favorite park?
I just came out Ross.
Yeah.
Just because it's so big. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
When did y'all start doing that?
I started in last July, so almost a year.
Good.
I've been there twice. I started in 2020.
I thought
worked
you meant
there.
like 2 days. I was like, wow, it's fresh.
No. I worked there. I left to go work at Pepsi,
Yeah.
and then when I quit there, I came back.
Cool.
So like I think three years now,
Yeah.
almost.
Hopefully they start appreciating you more.
Well, I'm gonna try to be the boss
Good.
next year.
Yeah.
because one's
That's
leaving.
awesome.
So we'll see. And if
Good.
they don't, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Probably.
Where are you thinking of going? Just somewhere else?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
To the state.
Shit.
No.
Maybe not. Maybe this day, just not my agency.
No.
Yeah.
No
State-
more.
Both of
the state
my
has good benefits.
my grandparents work. Oh my gosh, words are hard, guys. My grandparents work for the prisons, actually. Well, not. I should be pointing at you, but
Yeah.
my grandpa works for the Walls unit, and my grandma works for the Ferguson unit.
Who's your grandpa?
He works in the
Still works there? Okay.
Yeah, he just started there like 2 years ago now, I think.
Oh,
He
okay.
transferred from a different job, but it was
Okay.
really stressful apparently. But he oversees like the tractor maintenance thing or something. He said it's the easiest job he's ever had, and he makes more than he made at his last job.
Absolutely, yeah. If you
Yeah.
do anything for the prisons in that concept, all you do is just watch the
Yeah.
inmates work.
Yeah.
So
And he's
interesting.
yeah. Usually he's off like super early, right?
Yeah, usually
Yeah.
their
I
hours are pretty
despise
good.
them.
And then my grandma's a teacher. She's about to retire. And my roommate's actually a nurse at the Ferguson unit. So
Okay.
yeah,
I
she
hate them.
likes it. Do it?
I hate them.
Who?
Prison.
Oh,
The whole.
yeah.
I can tell you after.
That's a story for after.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's kind of crazy. Huntsville's like revolved around them, you know?
Well,
Have
that's
you-
why
okay.
I'm here.
Have you ever seen Dazed and Confused? The movie? What? You do film?
No.
You know what it is?
I know what it is. I just haven't seen it.
Okay.
She just came.
You
You
know,
know, you
like-
do film.
I know. Bro. That's the
Sorry.
whole thing. Yeah.
I'm sorry, my bad.
No, you're right though. No, you're right. I get clowned at it at work for a lot.
That's okay. It happens. But you know, like, all right, Matthew McConaughey,
Mhm.
right? That's from Dazed and Confused.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Dazed and Confused
Yeah.
is based on Huntsville High School.
You remember?
Yeah.
Y'all remember Coach Garcia, the substitute?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't go to high school.
No, he was
Didn't read
everywhere.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
He was like a super old guy. Always wore sunglasses. Was definitely hungover. Actually,
No.
you don't. Okay, y'all remember him?
He's bald, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was part of that friend group.
Oh,
That the movie
really?
was based on. Yeah.
That's
What?
crazy.
Yeah.
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 My like brother-in-law and my sister grew up in Huntsville, but keep in mind they're like 55, you know?
Yeah.
So it's weird, but they grew up around a lot of those people. Like they were older than my brother-in-law and sister, but they'd like hear about it. But it was based on like real people,
Mhm.
you know? So like the guy that Matthew McConaughey played, where he was like an older guy that like kept hanging around the high schoolers, was a real guy, and he got mad, and I think it was him or it was someone else sued the guy who made the movie for like, what is it, defamation?
Defamation,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I didn't
yeah,
watch that. I didn't know that.
it's kind of random, but I feel like that's kind of the point of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, they're just kind of like doing their own thing, going
Just
around.
living life.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen
Livin.
Fandango?
What?
Have you ever seen Fandango?
Isn't that also a movie website?
Yeah, it's a movie website. But it's a
Okay,
movie
no,
as
I
well.
haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
I was so confused.
Yeah, I was the same way when I heard about it. It's the same vibe. I
Yeah.
don't know. I've never seen it, but it's like
How do you know?
just kids being kids. Yeah, when you said it's like just random living
Oh,
life.
okay.
Yeah, it's super.
How'd
good
you hear
movie.
about it?
The movie?
Yeah, like how'd you hear what was in the movie?
No. Dazed and Confused. Like Fandango is like Dazed and Confused.
Yeah,
So I
but you
watched
said you've
Fandango.
never. Oh,
Yeah, I watched
okay.
Fandango.
I thought you
Haven't
were saying
seen
you've
Dazed
never
and
seen
Confused.
Fandango.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
now we're good.
Yeah,
We're back on the
okay.
same
Back on
page.
the same
page.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
It's a
Yeah,
good
me
movie.
either.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
Is it older?
I think like 80s or 90s.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's on Tubi for free.
Good to know. I have a Roku.
There you
can
go.
make it happen.
There you go. Yeah.
I love Roku. I'm gonna be so honest.
Really? I
Yeah.
couldn't stand when I had a Roku.
What?
That shit was always not working.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hate it.
Yeah.
It depends. I feel like they're hit or miss. Which type of Roku did you have?
The
on?
the little thing. No, like
the
not
stick.
the TV.
Oh no,
Yeah,
you need
no,
the
I had-
TV.
I've had.
Yeah, I heard the TV's eye.
Yeah.
I've had them all, and I hate them all. Like I've had the
Why?
TV, the actual box, the stick, the.
Why do
I've
they
hated
suck?
them all.
What did you? Was it like Hisense? Like however you say it, I don't know how to say it, but or like on. There's different. You know, there's like different TV
Yeah.
manufacturers
Oh, okay, valid,
that
valid,
partner
yeah,
with
yeah.
Roku.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the TV ones I've had, but all the other ones I just hated.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I just hated the way they looked.
I love Roku, guys. I really do.
Well, I have Apple TV, so I like that.
Okay. What type of TV is this?
That's the
I
Samsung.
think it's the
but like I
Samsung,
have the
yeah.
Apple TV like thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And
I
I
just
just use
love-
my PlayStation.
Yeah, he's weird.
No, that's fair though. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny though. What's your go-to game?
FIFA.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I had to think about it. I don't
Yeah.
know why.
Did you play soccer?
No.
Okay, cool.
I'm just fucking brown.
What do you mean? You were a keeper,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah,
I meant
never,
because
like,
you
played for
liked
real,
it and you
though.
were talking about your soccer
Yeah,
team
no,
earlier.
I just decided
Okay.
I like soccer, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just brown, so I just like soccer. But
That's funny.
Typical.
Did y'all play any sports or no? Or just band, right?
Yeah, kind of. We
yeah.
quit
When did y'all
pretty
quit?
early. Going into junior year. That was just us two though. He didn't.
Yeah. No sports in high school, but in basketball in Mans Park.
What did
Yeah.
you leave?
I left right before Mans Park. Like I did meet the teacher at Mans Park and everything.
You met them, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then we moved. Like I didn't even
Really?
start. Yeah. It was the whole thing. I moved
like I
to
would've-
Montgomery.
You
Like I
left
would've
like
remembered you,
quick
though.
after I knew, because we knew each other in
Fifth
grade.
or sixth
the
grade.
one
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
that. Oh.
Yeah,
I thought you were
'cause I
like
was friends
still
with-
went to Mans Park for a while and then left.
Mm-mm.
Oh, you were just gone.
Yeah, I thought you
No.
went to Mass Park too.
I was still living in Huntsville for like the first week when I went to Montgomery, because we
Okay.
were waiting to like for our house to like.
So you didn't go to Huntsville High School at all?
Mm-mm. No.
What?
That's
Yeah.
I could have
crazy.
swore I had a class with you.
Definitely not.
So you just remember us from like 5th grade. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I've run into a bunch of people. Like being back in Huntsville, it's weird
Yeah,
because we're like adults now.
yeah.
You know, isn't that strange?
But yeah, we
in-
still look kind of the same. It's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're like, it like takes a second, and then you put your finger on, and you're like, oh,
Mm,
okay,
yeah.
you were like this big.
Did
you
we?
know? Yeah.
Did we like clock it as soon as she started serving us? I think we did, right?
I did.
I
Yeah,
clocked
I don't know if
y'all.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember it was like the third time you came back. You were like, okay, y'all went to fucking
I
Huntsville,
was like,
right?
wait
Yeah.
a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to confirm. I had to do a few laps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny though.
No, I ran into another guy at Tipsy's a while back whose phone number I had gotten when I was in like 5th grade, or I guess I was in
Whoa.
7th or 8th grade, and I went to the fairgrounds and came and visited, like for the fair one year, and we ended up exchanging phone numbers, and I never saw him again. And he walked in, and I was like, you look so familiar.
Who was it?
His name's Brennan. I don't know, but I have his phone number in my phone still.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I was like, is your name Brennan? He was like, yeah, why? And I was like, is this your phone number? Right? And he did not remember me whatsoever. I
Damn.
guess he was more memorable.
Maybe that's why we remember seeing her older. The fairgrounds. I never went, but I know
I only
like,
went like once or twice though.
one of those times. Did you hang out with Joseph, Camrad?
I don't think so, but maybe. But I do remember Joseph.
Yeah,
He
'cause
was
I
really
feel-
cool.
I feel like he mentioned it.
I went one time and threw up like over 20 people.
Okay, maybe not then. I just remember like someone
That
telling
day?
me that you were there.
Yeah.
Maybe
Hell
it was
yeah.
a girl. I don't remember. but I
Word
remember
travels. What can I say? Yeah.
They're
That's
like, you remember
love.
Carly Fleming? And I was like, yeah.
Vaguely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember the idea of Carly Fleming. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so funny. I went. Do you remember Demarius?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I went with. He moved into my apartment like at one point to the like last year.
Okay, because remember you telling us about something?
Yeah.
Him too?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
no, Demarius was cool. Like things didn't really happen how they were supposed to, but nothing like it was cool. But I think he expected me to be at the apartment more than I was, because I ended up like moving to Huntsville like during the middle of it. It was just weird. But no, Sasha lived with me for like a year.
I remember that. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember
was
that
a
story.
mess. It's
That-
okay.
That was
But,
crazy.
You know, peace and love.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
Hope for the best and hopefully she's doing well. And
Right.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. That's all you
Yeah.
can do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, we got really cool with the Marius at one point. And then,
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to him since.
Yeah, me neither.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while
Life.
actually. Yeah.
Adulting.
I don't talk to anybody from school except for you two and like 2 more people.
Yeah. Have you reconnected with anybody here, like from?
Yes. So, so back in last July was when I got out of like a long-term relationship, right? And the month before that, I had like this girl that I grew up with, either at Stewart or Huntsville Intermediate. Like we were friends for like 4th and 5th grade, I want to say. And then we both ended up moving away, right? And so we were like best friends during that time and then just never talked to each other again. And she ended up posting on Instagram one day. And I don't know, I think I'd been like drinking or something because I was like, hey, like, I'm glad to see you're doing good, you know?
Yeah,
and
hell yeah.
I shot her a little DM and she was like, well, do you want to meet up for drinks sometime? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, right? So we met up for drinks last June. And we just like reconnect, haven't seen each other since like 5th grade, you know? And turns out she had moved back to Huntsville and was living in the house that we grew up like playing in. You know? Yeah, it was so weird. Just like walking back in, I'd be like, oh my God, like I remember that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
strange. And then I ended up getting out of my relationship after that. And she was like, well, like if you wanted to, you could come and move in here. You know? So I
Wow.
ended up moving in with her. And
Whoa,
like it was
full
just
circle.
yeah. So like now we live in the house that we hung out in whenever we were little.
That's cool.
It's
That's
weird.
really
It's
cool.
very strange because it's like Oh my gosh, she
It's
has
probably weird,
these-
like walk in a room and then you have like a flashback to something that was
Yeah.
like.
Well, at
Brilliant.
first it was really weird. Now it's a little different because I've kind of like personalized my space more, you know, so it's not like the same. But yeah, it was very strange at first. And I was gonna say something, but I forgot. I don't know, but it's just weird because like the last time I was there, we were like maybe 10,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and now we're like women. It's just so
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. But she has these
Who is
YouTube
it?
videos from us. Sarah Bench. She's very quiet in
I
school.
don't know.
I don't know. She's very introverted, but she's really cool. She's sick. It's like my bestie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's super cool.
Yeah.
Anybody else like?
That's pretty much it. Other than,
Okay.
I mean, I was friends with Sasha for so long. You know,
Yeah.
like we never
Mhm.
fell out really for the most part. And then Demarius off and on. I'm still friends with a girl from like Montgomery, not so
Yeah.
much Huntsville. And like I've ran into a few people here and there, but a lot of people have kids. They're like are married.
Yeah.
You know? I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you know, cool. Just
Yeah.
not the same. I
A
feel
lot
like
of
they
them.
don't understand like yeah, like I went to Las Vegas this weekend. Yeah, like it's not it's
Yeah,
a very
not
different
right,
point
not
in life.
relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So as someone who like travels a lot and like definitely is like living life to the fullest, do you want kids in the future?
yes, maybe.
Okay.
So not so much. My thing is, I knew that if I were to have children at any point in time, I would want them to be like the main priority of my life.
For sure.
Right. So that would have to be I would want to make sure I was comfortable with that choice, you know,
Type shit.
especially as a woman. Like, I feel like there is a lot of responsibility that does kind of fall on you, you know, hopefully whoever you do end up having children with doesn't like leave or anything. Right.
Type shit.
But that is a real possibility that you have to consider.
Especially nowadays, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ultimately, like, you have to carry the baby. Like, I didn't have to carry the baby, right? And so it's just, if I were to have children, I would essentially put, like, all of that, like, I'd be closing the chapter on that book.
Right. Exactly.
You know? Not
Yeah.
that, there are a lot of people who are, like, can go travel and do stuff afterwards, but typically, I feel like that's not the rule. That's kind of
Mhm.
like,
It's not as it's not as easy as it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
To quit your job and go travel for 2 months. Yeah.
Especially if you're not, like an influencer, you know?
Yeah.
like,
Or just got hella
if
money,
you just have a
know?
9 to 5, you're probably not gonna do that,
Right.
You know. But I don't know. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's okay. Have you ever heard of the fig tree analogy? I think it's by
think
Sylvia
so.
Plath.
Yeah.
I want to say, or Sylvia, however you say it. But essentially, she has like this analogy that involves a fig tree, and it's got all of these different branches, right? And it's every single choice you could ever possibly make, you know? So, say for example, I hadn't come today, right? Or like, say you had never texted, you know? That's one path that things could have gone off, and then like, there's a million different combinations as to how your life could have gone outside of that, right? So it's very much like the way I view it is I kind of see like, well, this is kind of what my life would look like if I did that, you know, and this is what my life would look like if I did this, right? Whether that be children or a job or moving or whatever. And I don't know, that's just kind of how I like categorize it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like I used to get caught up a lot of the time in things not turning out or going exactly in what like direction I wanted them to be, you know, or like you make mistakes or you learn and do something different than what you ever expected. Like I never expected to move back to Huntsville, right? And here I am,
Right.
you know? But that doesn't necessarily mean that this pathway or this branch would have been better than whatever other branch you're on, you know? And there's a book called The Midnight Library you can read that kind of explores the same thing where this lady dies and she's transported to like this library and it's got like infinite books, you know, and every single book is a different pathway her life could have gone on, you know? So she like relives her biggest regrets, right? So like she had almost gone like pro with swimming and then she just stopped doing it, right? And so in one like book that she went to, she was a professional swimmer. But in that book, like her brother had passed away, you know, just from different life choices, right?
Whoa.
And then in a different book, like maybe she married the guy that she had been dating, you know, and saw a life with, right? But she wasn't happy, you know, or like he just mistreated her, like wasn't emotionally present with her or whatever. And it's just really interesting. And eventually, not to spoil the book, but eventually she decides that her life is really the only thing that she could ever truly be fully comfortable with because that's what she's experienced and known and like
Right.
grown to hopefully love, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
Lots of big topics. I jump around if you couldn't tell.
No, but I completely get it because I used to be absolutely no kids for that same reason.
Yeah.
Of like, I'm too selfish.
Yeah.
And then an album just came out by one of our favorite artists, and it just changed my whole perspective on
What is
kids.
it?
Father Figure by John Bellion.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
haven't heard it, but I know who John Bellion is.
Yeah. So yeah, his new album just came out, and it's about being a dad.
Cool.
So it like changed my whole perspective on kids.
I feel like I don't know. I think kids are amazing, right? But I feel like I've always been more interested in like a partnership more than anything else. Just because I feel like if you do have a person that you can essentially like conquer life with, right? You can get through everything else. And I feel like if I were to find a very good partner, that is something I would want to experience with them.
Right.
You know, like the joys and like the shit that comes with parenting, right? And I think that it could either like make or break that bond, but hopefully you choose a person that you can build upon that with, you know? But I have 2 nieces that are like 4 and 8 years older than me, and they both just had their first kid or kids respectively. And it was just cool to see like how it almost changed their relationship and like brought them and their partner like so much closer, you know?
Yeah.
So it was really cool. I thought it was neat. And like I don't think I'd ever really like genuinely contemplated until like I saw that. I was like, cool. But I feel like I've always been scared of like being a bad mom too, guys.
I think it's everybody's fear though.
But I think that's a good fear to have. Like that shows you care.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know? So, but yeah. What do we think? What do we think about kids, guys?
I want kids. I've always been scared, which is kind of like it's really like looking bad on myself that I can't be a good parent. Mm-hmm. But I've been scared to have kids in the world that is and like progressively becoming. Yeah. Which is like, I mean, I should be able to raise my kid how I want. Yeah. But I'm just like,
the
what
word
if they're
is
not
scary.
But it's still my kid, so.
Yeah.
But I want kids. I don't know how many, why. Probably won't happen. But
yeah.
Women are scary.
Why probably? I feel like eventually you'll find someone.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
But also with guys too, y'all kind of like mature a little later. I feel like typically.
That's fair.
You know.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think that a lot of that has to do with societal pressures. You know, like girls don't really get the girls will be girls. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, boys will be boys. You know, like
that's fair.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that with time, like hopefully you figure that out. You know, and like you get to meet someone.
Type shit.
You never know. There's so many
the
people
longest.
Kids.
Yes, Nick.
Oh, yeah, kids.
Absolutely.
Especially because you're in
How
a
many kids do you want?
very good relationship.
I think the number's at 2 right now.
2?
Yeah.
A girl and a boy, or like 2 boys, 2 girls?
One of each.
Yeah.
One of each. I wouldn't mind being like a girl dad though.
I
You
can
seem
definitely
like a
see
girl
you as a
dad,
girl
yeah.
dad.
That'd be pretty fun.
What is China
That's a
think?
compliment,
Is she cool?
though.
Is she cool with 2?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think.
You know how many kids you're going to have, buddy.
Stop.
I've been telling him for like, ever since he's had his girlfriend, he's going to have quintuplets.
Really?
I could see
I've
it,
never
bro.
even heard of that.
I'm
So
just
funny.
calling it.
My one of my bosses, she's a quadruplet.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so
And that's
cool.
a
Very
like,
cool, yeah,
circle
yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have
My
5 kids.
All at once.
my old pastor had quintuplets.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually so crazy because I don't know if you're religious, but he couldn't have kids, like he just couldn't, like he was trying for years and years and years, and one day I can't remember, I want to say it was just a pastor, I can't remember exactly what it was. Somebody like prayed over her and was like, you're gonna have like, you're like, don't like, keep trying, you're gonna have kids. And they're like, okay, and they had 5 in one sitting.
Crazy.
Yeah. And it was crazy because 3 of them were like the 3 boys were identical, so they all looked the same, and then the 2 girls were identical. So
That's nuts.
yeah,
Yeah.
China wants twins.
She wants
I could
twins?
see you
Wants
having
so bad,
twins.
yeah.
I could see
Really?
you having twins.
Does
Hey.
it run in your family at all?
No.
No?
No.
I believe in
it's
it.
not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, hey, that'd be nice though, because then
It
you
would.
just get pregnant once. Snip, snip, you're
Yeah,
done.
no. That's fair.
That's
be nice.
funny.
Yeah.
Another reason I want kids is I just thought about this other day. Is I just want to continue my name.
Your legacy? That's
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
man.
'Cause I
Type
had,
shit.
well,
Type shit.
I had this thought because I was thinking about my uncle, because, well, it's my aunt. His uncle's just there, but they had 2 girls, so it was just my uncle. And I was
Yeah.
just thinking, I was like, I mean, it's very manly to think that. I mean, his name.
I want a son. Yeah.
His name's just gonna be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one of my cousins already got married.
What if your daughter kept your name?
Well, because we have a
That
friend
could be.
that
Hear me
want,
out.
we have a friend that wants to do that.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be
If-
nice.
yeah.
Who's that friend?
If I had like 2 girls and then one of them was just like, still I want a boy.
Kayla and
Yeah.
Dago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she brought it up to me. I don't know why she brought it up to me because I'm very argumentative and very traditional. So she was like, so "How would you feel if like your wife was only like it was only sisters, but she wanted to continue her name, so the kids get hyphenated, and I also become hyphenated?" And I was like, "Fuck no, I'm traditional. Like you're taking my last name." And she was like, "But like," and I was like, "Well, why do you ask me for my opinion if you're gonna argue it? Like, you just ask for my opinion. Like that's just my opinion." And who knows? Like love does different things, so that opinion could change. But
I don't think I'd ever expect someone to take my name.
yeah,
But if I, like, say for example, I became a doctor or something like that, and I have like a lot of accomplishments to
Absolutely.
my name, I feel like it's very hard to give that away.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So plus, like, I don't know, especially when I did used to want to be in the military and like fly, I was like, damn, like I don't want someone else's name on my little.
Type
no,
shit.
I want it to say Fleming
Type
right
shit,
there. Yeah.
I could understand that too. I
Yeah. But I don't know.
think. No.
Maybe someone has a really cool last name though. You know?
True.
What if their last name's like Smith? Like,
That
nothing against it.
actually happened to my coworker. Her last name used to be Rose, which is a cool
That's
as
a
fuck
cool
last
last
name.
name.
Yeah, and she got married to a Smith.
Oh.
Bummer.
She moved it to her middle name though, so she just erased her whole middle name,
What?
You just,
and her last name
I've
became her
never
middle
heard
name.
about someone doing that.
they
Me
just
neither,
changing
but she
names
was-
now? Just
Well, yeah,
I
because
mean,
like
yeah,
you know
people
when
do
you
that.
get married, you get like a free name change. She's like, "I'm gonna do the fucking whole thing."
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool. I didn't know that.
yeah,
My mom's middle name is Rose.
that's tough.
Yeah.
Rose is a tough name.
I have the same middle name as my brother and my dad,
What is it?
Nicholas.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your middle name, Nick?
K, just the letter.
Cool.
Isn't that hard? That's so
Yeah.
hard. Every time you say that, it's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got that from my grandpa. So
I didn't know that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Cool. I got named Carly after my dad. This is his dad's name. My real name's Clarissa, by the way. Watch me
yeah.
like get my identity stolen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I knew that.
No, my dad's name is Carl, so they nicknamed me Carly.
oh,
Oh,
shit.
shit.
Yeah. Also, I have a twin, by the way. We were talking about, you know Caleb.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, my mom did like the one and done thing.
Really?
Twins, yeah. But I'm like terrified of having twins. I feel like I'm gonna have like 4 kids, like all at once.
Quintuplets.
Fuck that. That's so. Yeah, it's fun for you. It's fun for you because you don't have 4 children in your body.
No,
You know?
right? Yeah, you gotta get fucking huge.
That's terrifying. What?
But you're tall though. You can take it.
No. That just does not sound like a fun time for anybody.
Absolutely not.
You know?
You're eating for 5. Like-
5, right? Oh my gosh. Oh my god,
That's
speaking of,
crazy.
I was at work like a few weeks ago, and I'm like serving my little table, whatever, they order their drinks, you know, I serve this lady a little spicy margarita, right? She gets up, pregnant. Very pregnant. Very
Bruh.
noticeably pregnant. And I was like,
She was just drinking that shit.
yeah. You could have told me. I could have made a little virgin margarita.
Right.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Fuck it though. I guess.
Yeah, right.
Like, fuck it.
Shit, I'm getting this buzz.
Yeah,
You know?
fuck it, I
Yeah.
guess.
That's crazy.
crazy.
That's crazy. So
I
you
don't
do
know.
like bartend at this new?
We make drinks. We serve we do everything. We
Okay.
make drinks, serve the food, and like if someone's on the course, we call out. Like
Gotcha.
we'll go. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the #1 course in Texas, which is cool. But it's like
That's
crazy.
sick. Is it here in Knoxville?
It's in Trinity. It's
I didn't
Whispering
even know it was
Pines.
a course over there.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
I've
out
heard
in the
that.
middle
I've
of
heard that
nowhere.
name. I don't know.
I've heard that
where it
name
was,
too.
But
Yeah, it's pretty
Look
cool.
at Trinity having something good.
Yeah, it's like really weird. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
cult, but it's really cool.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like they have their they almost have like this little they almost have like 2 subdivisions on the property where like the owners have their own, they call it the compound.
That sounds culty.
Right?
Yeah.
They have like 4 houses out there. One's like this big mansion and there's like a bunch of little guest houses. And I've never been on the compound, just saying. But then they have this like little subdivision in the course where the members will rent it out. Like, but it's like $1,000, like $2,000 a night
Yeah.
for the houses, you know? And it's literally like 8 houses. And they're just, you just drive through and it's like its own little neighborhood and they just go and spend the night there and they'll come in for dinner. Like,
All right.
it's weird. But it's like
Yeah.
really cool. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Stunning, and they treat us really well. Like we get fed, which I know that the bar is in hell. Like the bare minimum, they feed us, you
Yeah.
know.
yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool, and like they treat us really well. All of the members are very respectful, you know. So it's great.
Any famous people?
George Strait golfs there.
What?
Yeah,
That's a
And
big deal. Yeah.
there's a picture in the kitchen with our chef and George Bush because he came out and golfed.
Which
Like,
one?
That's cool.
the younger one.
Okay.
Is that HW?
I don't know.
Yeah,
All I know is
one of
George
them.
Bush.
The younger one. Yeah. The one that was the 9/11.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, it's really weird. So the other day I was like standing at the bar and we had two guys come in, and they're just chilling. Like, they're usually people don't really sit at our bar; they'll just come in and order drinks and then go golf. But they're just having a little conversation, joking around, whatever. We're all just kind of like yapping it up, And one of them leaves, and they were like, the girls that I was working with, they were like, you know who that was, right? I was like, no. And they're like, he's the CEO of Memorial Hermann. I said, huh? What? Like the hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So he's the CEO of two of the locations in Houston, and it's just like crazy. I looked him up, and he makes like a lot of money. It's ridiculous. I was like, man, you could have tipped more. He tipped really well. Don't get me wrong, but like,
You kept them even more.
yeah, you could afford it,
Yeah.
But our minimum membership is $25,000 a season. So like March through June,
Yeah.
and then September through December. Isn't that
So if you
crazy?
don't mind me asking, how much do you bring home some
Yeah.
good money?
We do pretty good.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
So with most serving jobs in Texas, they don't require you to pay minimum wage, so you'll make like $2.13 an hour plus
Right.
tips. Yeah. So we make $5 there, which is a little bit more depending on the day. But yeah, usually we get
Depending
like,
on the day.
well, cause like we work. So for example, I got
Yeah.
rained out today, so I couldn't go work. So I got like $7, and then they sent me home.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I think it like depends on where you work on the course, from how I understand it, because we have a bar in the middle of the course, and I don't know if you make more or the same there. I don't know. We just get paychecks. I get paid today, actually, guys.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. But no, it's actually been really good, and like sometimes you'll get cash. For the most part, we get credit card tips, but we get an automatic 10% off of everything that's sold. So the club gets 10, we get 10, but like a lot of our dinner tabs will be like in the thousands, So you get an automatic. Say it's 2,000, you get like $200, but it's tip share. But
Right.
like it pays
So I
off.
couldn't go have like dinner there because I can't afford that.
Well, you have to have a membership.
So I can't afford that.
I couldn't either. It's okay.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
get free golf there, but I'm terrified to go because like you can get fired if you mess up the course,
Oh,
and that's
shit.
just scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
cool though. We have like our chef is like this tiny guy, and he's kind of the embodiment of like short man syndrome, honestly. But it's because he takes his job very seriously. So like I respect it, right?
I mean, if you're cooking for George Strait, yeah.
That's what I'm
probably.
saying. Yeah. Well, and he's an excellent cook from what I've heard. I
Yeah.
haven't had any of the steak or anything, but he cracks me up. Oh my gosh. Have you ever seen, like Sausage Party, the movie? Do you remember the
Yeah.
rap from it?
I
You
don't
know what I'm talking about? He looks like that. Like, hold on. My phone's over here. But let me find this for you.
I thought you meant like they were rapping. No, it's like a rap.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
boomboxing.
Yeah.
Or beatboxing, that's what it is.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, like there's a
Oh, they're okay. So you're like, I thought you were serious again. No.
no, I'm being sarcastic.
So like
Hold on, I have a
keep wanting
picture
to
for
do
you.
motions,
Like
but they
the
don't
rap.
come out well. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
It's
when I
like
can-
an actual
yeah.
like tortilla.
Yeah,
right?
type shit.
Let
That
me
movie,
find
that
this.
movie was crazy, by the way.
Yeah.
I loved it though.
That was yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm so sorry. Give me 2 seconds and I'll find this and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
He kind of looks like a rap. God damn.
No,
It
it's like a
sucks.
character. I swear.
Is it also
Dude.
because he's wearing white?
It's because of his facial hair. I'm not even kidding, bro. Hold on.
Oh, that sucks.
I'm just gonna type in sausage party in my messages and see what pops up. Okay. Oh, this is the picture with George Strait. Word. Right?
Wait, you got one with him?
No. That's our chef and George, or not
Oh,
George
okay,
Strait,
there
George
you
Bush.
go.
9/11.
I can see.
Oh, yeah.
I can
Yeah,
see
yeah.
the rap. Yeah.
This is the rap from Sausage Party.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
valid.
Yes.
Valid,
So
valid.
he does kind of look like him,
Yeah.
But no, like it's pretty cool. All of the girls are really nice. But they do have very high expectations for a lot of people, which like makes it like our training was like a month long. Yeah. And I was the first person out. But I don't know. I've heard that in a season, so like our seasons are March through June, and then what am I thinking? We open back up in September and we close in December, but most of the girls will make like $25,000. So,
Oh shit.
Yeah. But I haven't made
For
that
that
much
year or a season?
for the season.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
So what do
But
you do
you're
when it's
off.
off season?
Nothing.
You just have to go like find another job, or
Yeah, a lot of girls
Okay.
will work at like Biggie's, or some of them just won't work because they'll save up and they'll just chill during the off season. Or like Chef travels.
Yeah.
He'll go out of the country for a few months.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool. It just gets too hot and then it gets too cold. So we're closed 4 months out of the year.
So
Yeah.
I'm paying $25,000 for like 3 months.
That's pretty cool.
It's good money.
Imagine having that kind of money, bro.
I was in
Fuck.
training for like a month of it, you know.
Yeah,
And
but
then like my
still.
car kept dying.
I mean, if one membership is $25,000.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
You're
it's
just
crazy,
paying each
bro.
person.
Not including like the corporate ones we have, you know, because a lot of them will be like actual companies,
That's
and they'll just
crazy.
buy a member like a corporate. I don't know. Wow. Yeah, but it's pretty cool. But yeah, it's kind of insane. We have a lot of people visit from out of state.
I've never even played golf.
Me either.
Been to one Top Golf and I sucked.
Yeah,
Me too.
I know
we're
we've
getting
been yapping.
we're getting about 2 hours, so
Yeah.
our cards usually end around like 2:30. So
Right.
is there anything that you want to talk about
I don't know.
before we cut it? Also real fast. This is like to you guys. We like completely forgot about the quick fire questions. Do we want to bring those back?
Sure.
Okay, because I feel like
If
she
we
have
got
really good
time.
answers. Yeah, we have time. We're at 2 hours. I think that one has 2:30 on it. I didn't check that one. It's still going though.
Hmm.
Right, Nick?
Huh?
Yeah.
Double check. Yeah.
Oh,
it is?
yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Is there anything
yeah.
that you want to talk about?
What? How would you say your experience is like growing up in Huntsville and still being in Huntsville?
That's a
How
great
has that
question.
been?
Who wants to talk about that
Yeah.
one first?
I feel like Nick hasn't talked.
Okay,
have
Nick,
not.
go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of like. So I moved out for a little bit. Me and
Okay.
him actually, we moved to Conroe for. Well, it wasn't long at all, but for a little bit. And even just like being out of Huntsville for that little amount of time was like. It's kind of like refreshing almost. Like it felt good to be like somewhere that's not normal. But since I moved back, I kind of missed it a little bit. Just got a little homesick.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of in the mindset where I want to get out again. Kind of
That's
like
how
go
I
to like a
feel.
big city or something like that. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Like I know like the back of my hand, and it's kind of like it served its time. So now it's time to go explore somewhere else.
Yeah. Where are you thinking of going?
I have no idea. For a while, I wanted to go to Austin, but I changed my mind on that.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. I don't really know. It just kind of like it wasn't the move anymore. I don't know. Like, I didn't feel the vibe, but maybe like Dallas. Dallas is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We just went there for like a convention that we went to, and we like walked the city, and it's so much different from Houston. I feel like it's just like the architecture and everything, and it just overall felt like more comfortable down there, like walking in the city. Like it felt
Yeah.
safer for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Definitely not Houston though. I don't think. I don't want to go that way.
Maybe
I-
Woodlands.
I've been liking Houston more recently.
Really?
I've been visiting, and I'm like, okay, maybe, I
Mm.
guess. But I feel like I do that like briefly, and then I go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But yeah. What about you, Deb? Or with
I
Huntsville?
wasn't born and raised here.
Okay.
I was born more towards Corpus Christi. I came here like second grade.
Yeah.
So I remember most of this, but I used to hate it here, and I think it was just being in school, or like I going to school here, and I just despised everything about this town.
Yeah.
And then I got out of school and started working. I went to College Station. I lived there for
Cool.
like 10 months or something. Then I came back home. Then I did Conroe with him, and I came back home.
You just been hopping around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I have the option to go to Madisonville if I want to, but I like it here now, and I mean, working for the city here, I know
Okay.
everything a little too much,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks sometimes. But I mean, it's cool. I hate the college.
Yeah.
Like, it's so nice right now because it's summer, and
I've heard that a lot, actually.
It feels like it gets worse.
it's like the mini Houston when college is in, especially.
I
for
love
11th
the hustle
Street.
and bustle. You know,
Well, me, I'd pick up trash, so I have to deal
with all that.
all day. And
Yeah,
college
that's
kids
fair.
are stupid.
Very. And the fact that bridge is out is
Oh, that's
probably not
huge.
helping.
Yeah,
So,
it's gonna be
but-
a rough one.
no.
I'll be alright. But I like it. I mean, I don't want to live here forever. My dream is to, like, not work where I work and be able to live where I want.
Yeah.
And like my family's here, or they're more in Madisonville, so I'd like to like have a stable place there, but just go around the country or go to other countries, just
That'd
do
be
stuff.
cool.
So,
Yeah. What are you?
what you got, Mom?
So I've always had like that love for Huntsville, even like to basically disagree with Dev. Now when I started at the agency where I'm at, I started in HR,
Mhm.
so I was like, well, I just need to go do what I love, which is production. But now that I do that in town, I make a decent living for my age, I guess. So no, I love it here. My family's here. I think it's a good base of operations because like the rent and like
Everything's
cost
cheap.
of living is cheap.
Yeah.
So I can, go to Germany for a week or, I went to Mexico last year. I went to, I'm going to Disney. I'm taking my mom to Disney World.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That'd be
I can do
fun.
that here. Yeah.
Are you gonna do Epcot?
Yeah, we're doing all four. Yeah, hell yeah.
Nice.
So I love it here. I don't, and I've told them this a lot, and I've told the podcast a lot, but I'm blessed to be where I'm at because all my leadership is young, so they're all very like understanding. They're very knowledgeable people. So, like
Cool.
one of them's a doctorate, and she's like 34 or doctor. So they're just all like super knowledgeable and stuff. So I can learn a lot from them.
Nice.
So it just depends where life takes me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the fun part.
Yeah.
You
You never
know?
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Quick fires, and then we'll
Let's do it.
call it a day. So what's on the top of your bucket list? Which is crazy because you've done a lot. So
Bucket list.
the
Big
top
bucket
of it.
list is all 7 wonders of the world,
Okay.
all 50 states, and what am I thinking? Like all the territories.
okay.
Yeah.
Any irrational fear?
Fear. I don't like being scared of things. Pisses
Okay.
me off.
Interesting.
So then I'm like, okay, you're gonna go do it.
Okay. You're
Yeah.
gonna like, get over the fear. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Valid.
Worst life advice you've ever heard?
Stay comfortable.
Mm.
I guess.
Ooh, that's a good
Yeah.
one. Best life advice you've ever heard?
I was gonna say this earlier, actually. What you're not changing, you're choosing.
Mm.
Right.
I'm gonna skip these next two.
Oh, what is it?
I feel uncomfortable asking a
Okay,
woman
okay,
this.
okay.
I
Word.
mean, I mean, I forgot we wrote these.
Oh, I did forget about that too. Yeah, let's.
They're very sexual.
We can wait.
Well, they don't have to be.
What's the last one?
Well, I'll say the last one, but
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
What do you want your kids to experience that you didn't have growing up?
Like a loving home. I know that sounds so bad.
Oh my gosh!
But yeah, I would want I don't want to be friends with my kids, but I want them to be able to like trust me, to come to me with anything.
That's good. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
This is your rapid fire?
Well, we had two more.
Oh, okay, yeah.
don't
Understandable. Yeah.
I mean, I'll ask them, but yeah.
We can cut it out if it's bad. Is it like really inappropriate?
No, it's not. Well, the reason I like this question is because you can take it as you want.
Okay.
But
What's your biggest turn on?
thank you for saying it.
Someone with plans,
Okay.
with a pathway.
She didn't take it sexually like
No.
the guys have. Fucking.
Well, just like I don't know. I feel like
that happened.
I want a lot out of life, and I feel like that's not
Yeah.
a lot to expect from someone else.
That's
and then,
cool.
so your biggest turn off?
Just the opposite of that.
I would say almost like complacency.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, actually, people who don't like their environment but aren't willing to change it. People who are afraid of
Ooh,
change. I guess
that's
is a good way
hard.
of putting it.
Yeah, that's hard.
Just because I'm very much a person that's like I make this joke all the time. Whenever someone complains about their job to me, I'll be like, okay, quit.
Yeah, right.
Just
right,
quit.
right.
You can do it. You have free will.
Yeah.
You know, why not? So yeah, probably that. Where like obviously whatever partner I have, I want them to be able to come to me and like complain or whatever. But if it's like the same thing over and over and over and over again for like a year, I'm like,
Right.
okay, maybe we should. This
Yeah.
isn't making us happy. Let's do something new.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay,
That's it.
That's it.
yeah.
The reason it's funny, the reason I actually knew of that question was because in my, I took public speaking in
Cool.
college, and our first day she asked us that question, and everybody started laughing, right? Especially
Yeah.
because it was a class full of freshmen, and she was like, just take it as you will, and the first person to answer said kindness. Everybody was like, oh, it's not that, yeah. But all the guys
Kindness, yes.
we've had on. Like that, we've asked that question to.
They're
They're
like,
all,
oh, I love blondes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, those were very good answers. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it'll be out. Not this Sunday, but next.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
I think
As
you're a
long as I
lot
don't get
cooler
canceled,
than
we're
me.
cool. No, everyone's cool in their own way.
what'd you say?
Thank you.
A lot cooler than me.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah.
has their own perspective to offer the world.
Mm.
No.
Type shit.
Yeah.
Type shit. I fuck
You
with
know? Everyone's their own expert in like their own thing. Mine is just like credit cards.
that. In other countries.
You want to get there for $16? I got you.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, cool. Well, thanks.
Three pals in a chaos race. Maul's wild grin sets the pace. Dev's got plans that'll never hold. Nick's laughter loud and bold. Goofs on air, let the stories fly. Echoes of jokes, they never shy. Spinning madness under shattered skies. Catching laughs in the blink of an eye.